So first off, I'd like to welcome our newest friend to the group. Welcome, Glenn. I know it says first on the agenda that we're going to talk about a comprehensive plan. Before we get into that, I have something that I would like to go over, and it is discussing possible rebate options for our folks that are in the Route 460 area of Peary Street to the red light at Midbolt. We have discussed doing a possible mills tax rebate. There are 2 customers in that area that were affected as far as mills tax. My recommendation is, if we would like to rebate some of that mills tax, I have a 3-month data, the highest being $3,187.97, and the other is $185.49. That's the highest. The data that I have, you can clearly you can see that they took a hit. If you all would like to do a mills tax rebate, I suggest rebating that month to the 2 businesses.
What's the total on it?
The total of those added together.
Sure.
$3,373.46. I also have an option to where we could give a bill credit. This is not money that will come to the customer, it will be applied to their bill. I have gotten data from their 9/30 water and sewer bill. I have compared what their bill was for that month and their consumption in gallons. If we were to choose to abate or give a bill credit of 1 month for each of these customers, the total would be $4,512.90. So if you all would like to consider a water or sewer bill credit, I would recommend 1 month, and that would be the cost of that.
Is this in lieu of pressure washing and cleaning?
I have that too. The average cost of pressure washing is between $300 and $450. The average gallons of water used to pressure wash is between 250 to 500 gallons. If we were to average out and say we would hire a company, it would be $375 would be an average. That's the difference between $300 and $450. Some of the buildings in that area are larger than others, so I did account for that. That would come out to $7,875. If we did it in-house, I took say 2 employees to do it, the cost of the equipment, the cost of the water, and say an average of 3 hours to do that. That cost is $6,473. My recommendation, if you all would like to do this, is that we send a letter to all of these property owners and say, the town of Tazewell understands that you were put through a hardship because of our project. If you would like to hire someone to pressure wash your property, we will rebate you up to $250. That way it takes the liability off the town. And maybe they don't want to have their property pressure washed. Maybe they're fine with it, but it gives them the option. That would be my recommendation if you all would like to offer for pressure washing.
Where's this at?
through Peary Street to the Ben Bolt
Oh,
red light.
okay.
So those are my 3 recommendations if you guys would like to entertain any of it. So, thoughts?
What about the Italian Village? Did they come up with anything?
Well, that's what.
They would be,
Well, those options, I know the options, but that's something. Be ready for Italian Village.
well,
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
we're discussing.
I mean, I think
Right.
that's what the building's tax.
New equals full. They want their money back.
Well, that was the $3,000 she spoke about.
there's options in here, Dave, that would help them.
Not firing you.
What's
up.
that?
There's options in here that would help them.
Well, let's hope so.
We just gotta choose which option, which wrapper we do.
I mean, you could choose to do one, you could choose to do all 3. It's whatever you guys would like to direct me to do, but those are my recommendations.
My first thought is, this was a water line project. This was, we have rebated water to business before. We have never done a mills tax before. I would think, my first thought is, do the water bill rebate as suggested. And I almost want to say, and do the pressure washing. Like you said, you go get it done, we'll rebate the, or, we'll send us the invoice or whatever it is.
Because it was a mess, I mean, they had a.
And
I like the hand.
that will alleviate the responsibility or liability on us.
Yeah, I don't like that, and it doesn't take our people away.
Correct.
I think I think those two make sense. Might be a little bit more costly that way. Total cost of those 2 options,
If everyone was to get $250 rebated back to them for a pressure washing service, that cost us $5,000.
But if you take something like the Big Castle Motor Inn, the cost to pressure wash that one isn't,
Will be more, yes.
so she could go off with a blanket statement of $275 per unit. You'd almost have to go X percentage of the total cost. But then you're gonna have scalpers. There's no competitive bid process. There's,
where you go,
right. Yeah, I'm gonna call my cousin out of town to have him come in and charge me $1,000 to do it. No, I'm gonna get 80% back from town. So to fix it at a cap.
I like the idea of cleaning the mess anyway.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And
But
we would put a cap date, like, the weather's not gonna be our friend. So what if they wanted to wait till the spring? Like, could we give them till April 30th to have that done?
Well, I mean, that's kind of the other piece to this as far as pressure washing goes. Number one, the weather and everything has already affected the dust, right? The dust it's still, buildings are still dirty.
Right.
The vehicles in Payne's lot are still dirty, but the dust is pretty much gone. But we're going to ground up the road and pave it again. You're going to stir up a little bit more dust. Then, that's not going to happen until what, May? April, May?
Well, not,
April.
oh, okay. The opposite lane, right?
We'll mill it up to pay it back.
So if we do it now, isn't the right call to do.
Right.
So maybe we just do the water rebate and say, tough. I mean, not tough, but like, here's a rebate to your business. Use this money towards pressure water, like,
Right.
this money will go to your loss of revenue plus, pressure water, or cleanup to your business or whatever.
I kind of think in terms of like liability, rather than mills taxes, I'm more in line on the business license, but only like the business license rebate, but only for the time period in which we went over our estimated limit. So if we were, I need your help on this one, because if we have a time parameter, say we were 3 weeks overdue, it's like then prorate out the business license, say, hey, yeah, we want to be a good neighbor, you pay your business license, like there is routine maintenance and construction that has to occur. We went 3 weeks overdue, here's your rebate on your business license for causing 3 weeks, three weeks longer.
Yeah, but I feel like this project, more so than routine maintenance, impacted their business with, the dust was more than routine maintenance. I mean, it was above and beyond the standard of what you would expect you would have.
Right.
The dust itself affected business, not just the maintenance of the road.
I'd like to see something from the time we started.
Back in June.
So that's how you extend the timeline to the beginning?
Because I mean, I think we owe it to the people to make this right.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
I think that the Italian bills at their figure, I think it should be, and you've got to give them, how much they've lost and the whole from June to you got finished. It's 20,000 or something, I don't know. This business dropped when all that started. But I think if you drop it on the mills tax, then he's the only one that I know of that's got a restaurant out there.
There's another business that pays mills tax.
Where's that?
Across the street.
Across the street.
It's cargo.
Oh, cargo.
Prepared food.
Hot dogs, okay. Well, cargo too. You've got to give them a good break on their meals tax so they'd be a little bit happier than what they've lost. And if you do that, that will make them a little happy. And with the spray, wash and stuff, I go along with Mr. Hankins.
Yeah, the one thing we need to be prepared for is like, whatever you do on this go, we still have a continuation of this project going on. We need to be prepared mentally for a handy, like, and I'm not saying people are out, businesses are out with their hand out. I spoke with one business owner, it's like, sucks, but this is what happens, like, you gotta maintain your stuff. Like, and I was like, well, thank you, because that's quite the opposite than most folks are feeling. And that's a sample size of one business owner. But we need to be prepared to do what we're doing here for the next round, if we can't better manage traffic. Because we got two options out that way. Once we get to Your Great Escape, we can force folks across railroad tracks and kick it out to the freeway that way. Maybe it's not an issue.
I think we'll be better prepared.
100%.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
And you don't have that, the situation's not quite the same. It's not as heavily trafficked, and the businesses aren't right on top of the road.
Well,
You know, you're about one car length away from the.
right, yeah. Well, when you get to Your Great Escape and yeah, it's kind of, there's
Malt shop,
yeah, the salons that are there. Love You Baby Forest. There's a lot of pretty things out there.
You don't want to miss them salons.
But in terms of our budget slack that we had from last year, like which, you know, our emergency fund's not fully funded, it's not like we've got money to spare, like that's not an accurate representation of it. But there is slack in order to execute something like this.
I do think there's something to, it was a water project, let's rebate it through water. And
Right, bringing it back.
I think if you do 1 month, it makes it proportional to the size of the business. Now, I know, like, that's different, like, a hotel, a laundromat's gonna use a whole lot more water than, a restaurant. Car business. Yeah. But I do think,
88,000 gallons.
no matter what you do, you're gonna proportionally, like, give an advantage to one business over another.
Yeah, but if you do that, like, so, for example, like the laundromat versus Italian Village, it's a road issue for them because they lost motorcycle traffic because motorcycles don't like to ride on bumpy roads. And eat outside, the dust, like, it was a water issue, but the road issue is what negatively impacted his business more so than the water line.
Yeah, I mean, you're cleaning clothes and there's dust flying around.
Yeah.
Are you just like, that you can argue that the dust is.
So, would you all feel comfortable in giving me a direction to go in tonight?
Why don't we look at the issue of contracting the rest of it out, knowing that the people get upset in the end, and the town crew can do their main job around the town. Because it holds up a lot, I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay, so when we entered into an agreement with the Virginia Department of Health, it was done on what they call a force account, which means the town does the labor. Also, we're not getting paid back for any of the labor that is on this project. How are you going to pay for that?
Our hands are kind of tied on the labor. Now, paving, we can contract that piece out, that's a separate piece, right?
Correct.
But the labor of laying the lines, replacing the lines,
Yes.
that's got to be done by us
Yes.
and one employee from the county?
They have provided flaggers. That was the
Flowers.
contract.
Okay.
So,
Has legal advised on what we can do in this case? Are there any special, like, stipulations, and you can rebate taxes, like you can't abate taxes, like that type of stuff? Like, so this falls under rebates, it's good to go?
So we would not be waiving anything, we would be rebating. So we have the flexibility to do that.
How do
We can't waive a tax to tell someone not to pay it,
Right,
but you can rebate it back once they have paid.
and
What about, so the most direct way we can see an impact of this to their business is their B poll from last year to this year. Same months, right?
They
Well,
pay
you
it, they
do
pay,
it annually.
they only pay it once a year.
They only
It's
pay
not
it.
due until April 15th next year.
So we would not have any way to see direct impact for that month.
And then
Not until
even
April
then,
next
they don't have to show you don't have to show the numbers. You can,
Month
well, like your annual. Yeah, there's no monthly requirement, but also you can send a letter certified by your accountant that, hey, they're not lying, this is their total revenue.
by month.
And some folks don't like to share their tax returns. Some people are pretty open with their tax returns.
So there's no way to directly see the impact.
Unless you look at the month-by-month mills tax.
For those two businesses,
Those
the
two
only
businesses.
ones that we can
Correct.
see that.
Correct.
Just food for thought, I mean, could we offer the two businesses meals tax, like rebate and rebates?
to the other businesses, you know, laundromat, the other businesses out there, farmers, fell to the higher amount. Just,
My only concern with that is that we've been pretty protective of meals tax rebates in the past.
well, we've got standard processes for those incentives.
Right. And that's what we defaulted to in the past. This is what's in the code. This is what, you know, enterprise zone is the meals tax rebate that we used. I know this is special circumstances, but also know how perception can get cloudy in that.
I mean, you don't have to do anything with meals tax. That was just an option that had been brought up, and I wanted to explore it a little and offer a recommendation if you would like to.
But those businesses, you could argue, are impacted more. So
the other one, you said $100 million. I didn't have the, Carter's your second minimal. Yeah, it's hot dogs.
their traffic doesn't change because people still get gas,
Right.
essentially.
I think it was
They're also on the other side of the road, so it's not the impact on that side of the road. I feel like slightly less. I know a lot of people that would drive out that way, but would drive home the long way. The long way.
to avoid the lane.
The 3-minute longer way.
This is something you all would like to have a little bit more time to think about? Or would you like me to do any other additional research and bring it back? I mean, I'm open to whatever you all would like to direct me to do.
Look, right now, I don't have a dog in the fight because I'm not sworn in yet.
But you're elected.
I think the meals tax, I know that there's an application and that's things that's in the code, but when you look at what they've been affected, and you said you could see that they've been affected, of course, we can't give everything back that possibly could have been affected. This is a small gesture to say we're sorry. I do think in this circumstance, if I had a vote, that's the route I would go. Because that's the way they could say, they did take care of us, they thought of us, and it would be a nice gesture. I would go as far to say maybe give them the water credit too. I mean, they did take a hit, so I think both of those are great options to show our condolences, or however you want to say that to them.
Okay.
So, mills tax, water, plus power wash.
Well, everybody gets the power wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is residential as well, right?
And again, we could send a letter to say, if you would like to have your establishment or your residence, you know, you have the option to do so until such and such date, and you could give us the invoice, and we will reimburse you up to whether you want to do percent, whether you want to do a dollar amount. We could have that option.
And
Can we contract somebody to give quotes? We're like, so if you're protecting that, because if you do it on a percentage base, you're gonna get dogged. But if we contract somebody else to say, all right, you do pressure washing full-time, if we were purchasing this product, how much would it charge for X amount of houses? And that way you could set your percentage based on kind of like in a home appraisal basically, right? Like you're getting the job appraised, so you don't get ripped off by a set percentage. I just see the percentage as the only way that you can make it apples to apples between Dickus Motor Inn and a 2-bedroom house. But you need an unbiased appraiser on that to do that. I think that would make your math easier, and that might be more equitable if we're going that route.
Or, I'm sure we are not able to do this. Can we give them a list of acceptable contractors to use You know what I'm saying?
And by the way,
Do we run into issues with that? I'm assuming we do.
I mean,
Sure.
if it were to come back that, company ABC messed up my house and you recommended them, could they hold us at fault for that? I don't know.
it'd be great to have legal here.
Well, he did ask me if he needed to come, and I said, no, not for
Okay.
this. He did ask me today, because I didn't know that we were going to need legal advice at this moment.
How far back are you going? Are you going one row of houses, like, is it just on the strip?
The front houses and residents, businesses,
So like on Peary Street, right? Like that's the one that's closest to the cave?
yes. The
All right,
front
like-
I
houses.
got the big sign up in the yard.
Yeah, the Dust Bowl sign.
It's down, it's down,
It is
But-
down.
it's down.
So you're only doing the front houses versus like the dust?
There's a
flying?
reason,
And,
because Peary Street up to the water plant is in this project. We're coming for them later.
So they'll-
okay.
So that'd be.
I think I'm thinking of Quarry Road versus.
Quarry
Peary-
Street is,
Peary's
Quarry
across
Street's
from-
out past the Midbolt red light.
Yeah, Corey's going to you. Go through the red light.
Peary Street's right beside the
Yes.
cave.
Okay, I'm tracking.
So really, everything's on, you don't have a second row, essentially, through this section.
So, let me go to satellite here. Sorry, I wish I could. Tony Stark, it just picture it on the screen. So those are like these houses. And behind me, over here. Okay.
It's just so hard to quantify the impact.
Where do you stop?
on-
Yeah, where do you stop? I mean,
And you can't specify to each business, like, can you really say how many cars that Mac Payne didn't sell because of that road work? Or can you say how many loads of laundry didn't get washed because of that? Like, and the daycare, people probably still took their kids there, but really the kids couldn't go outside and play all summer.
Right.
So like, did it impact their business? Not exactly, but the customer satisfaction, I'm sure it impacted that.
And how do you put a price on that?
How do you put a price on it? So like, you go down the line, and it's like, okay, and then what about empty buildings that were being worked on?
And we have that in here.
Yeah.
Like
So-
they don't have an active water account.
Right.
So you don't get a rebate if you do a water account. Because you don't
And
have
how
an active.
much, not to single out properties, but the old National Bank building, how much did the dust, does that affect the property value?
no.
No.
That's dust.
Okay, so what would you all like me to do?
Figure out this problem.
There, I mean, it's clearly, there's one thing, there's no textbook solution on this.
There's not.
There's an element of, we have to do maintenance, and there's fallout that comes from that.
We don't have to do anything.
Right,
Right.
but nobody, I don't think anybody here wants to see that.
Everybody here wants to
make this right.
I agree.
Right. And, drawing that line, and then we just say we go with it. Let's entertain the high end.
Entertain the high end, is that what you said? Like, all three of those? All three?
All three. And, the mills tax, I know we've been protective of it, but the thing about the mills tax is, look, over the course of the long term, think 5, 10 years, this is what we studied on a few years ago, the more restaurants you retain, the better off you're gonna be, right? And, that's gonna catch some fallout, but I would go, I think I could stand behind that one.
I could stand behind it. We need to put some kind of rider or statement out ahead of this saying like, state of emergency type situation, right? Something that qualifies this situation so that whenever,
Anxious circumstances.
yeah, whenever we're, at some point, we're gonna have to put pavement on Main Street. Not every business is gonna be like, oh, I'll shut down. You owe me something.
Well, and that's the
And
reason,
one of the things you said, right?
well, that's the reason I would base mine based on if we went over schedule. Or, like, yeah, I'm pretty stuck on the schedule thing. Routine maintenance you can't avoid, but if you did something wrong, right? Dust was a byproduct. The only time that really becomes wrong, in my opinion, is once you're past due.
Which we were over scheduled by a little over a month, right? 2 months?
2 months.
Right. That, to me, that puts the window on.
Okay. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I think that's fair. But everything we were discussing was a month, right?
Yeah, yes, this was
So are you saying
a month
entertain those
water
for 2
sewer,
months?
a month mills tax. My recommendation would be a month, if that
I
matters.
think that's
I
kind
don't-
of, yeah, I like that. Because I can't remember who said it, but it's not, we can't make up everything that they lost, but it's a good gesture. And it's, yes, we were over scheduled. And just like you can't, routine maintenance, you also have routine maintenance that drags out just a little bit longer than you expect. But this was significant impact over a drawn-out period of time.
And you know what? Out of those 2 months, some of these things were outside of our responsibility, right? I'm gonna call it the part, the wet tap that was the wrong size. There were components that were left out by the engineering drawing links.
Yeah.
A lot of this is outside of our responsibility.
But at the end of the day, we're responsible for the project.
Yeah, you can delegate authority, but not responsibility type thing. What do you think, Dave?
I still think about it. Get a contract, I don't know how you can change it around. There's something in there that you do.
Well,
Talking about,
that would be
I mean.
hundreds of thousands of dollars to make that adjustment, right? We're talking,
None of that, well.
So what we're talking about right now,
Another
Dave,
year for just
what we're talking about is, would you like to see us help the businesses and the property owners by giving them a month rebate of water and sewer, and the businesses that paid mills tax, give them back some of that money that they paid for their mills tax, and give them an option to get their business or their house pressure washed. That's what we're talking about. Would you like to see that done?
I would like to see that done, but I'd like to also see what's going to cost to get a water company to come in and knows how to lay the pipes real quick.
So if we did that, we would lose our grant. So all the money that the grant has given us, we have to pay that back.
$1.3 million.
And then we would have to pay the contract.
So in other words, we're screwed in a way.
no, we're not screwed, because our town workers have shouldered the load through this portion. The laying of the pipe was, there were moments of it where they were ahead of schedule, but there were other actions that occurred that were beyond our scope that also caused a delay. So we expect them to improve, right? They've had a season of trial work on it.
And with that, we've learned other ways to go about this that will mitigate those risks going
Yes.
forward. And so we should not have near the issues anywhere else that we have right now.
But
Smoother process.
if it is going up and they're paying back $1.3 million, I was thinking it would have been hundreds.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
That was the principal forgiveness. It was
Oh,
$1.3 million.
yeah,
The
no,
total project's 2.5.
no, we got
I was about to say, that's just what we've already spent.
we got to ride it out, and then you got to look at possibly paving to get that. That's one way to expedite. All right,
And where were we at on the paving schedule with that section of road anyway? It's probably ready to be paved through anyway, right?
So we need to let that settle, what we have just done out there on the hill. What we've got will get us through the winter time. Springtime rolls around, we're gonna pave.
Yeah,
The whole entire overlay.
But I'm saying like, getting a contractor to pave from that whole stretch of road, like, we were probably about due for that anyway.
It was,
So,
absolutely.
so like, yes, we can get a contractor to go pave it, and that's kind of within our scope of where we were gonna go with things anyway.
Right.
That's not gonna be above and beyond.
And we do have a large allocated funds to pay for this
Yeah.
budget year. So,
all right.
I like it.
okay,
I want to, one last item on it, because this is really important. But rather than the mills tax and leave that in play, to make it equitable for the other businesses, scrap mills tax, make it prorated 1 month for the business license, do your water, do your pressure washing. Does that, because when you introduce the mills tax piece to it, it's less equitable to say your, I don't know, your childcare, your hotel, your laundromat.
so any business that is in that affected area, we would prorate part of their business license, is that what you're saying?
If we're sticking a requirement on 1 month,
Okay,
that's what I would take what they paid in their business license for the calendar year, prorate it out by 12 months,
Give them
give them a month.
1/12 of their vehicle
Yeah,
back
okay.
as a rebate.
So mills tax is 8%, and,
yes, but the mills tax is
Only affects two businesses.
it's a pass-through.
right, so,
It's a pass-through. Like, when we pay our business licenses, we're paying with that revenue that we generate.
Yeah, it's a consumer tax.
do you remember what percentage business license is right off the top of your head? It's like,
Well, it varies based on.
For retail, it is 22.22.
okay, so it's going to be much lower than if you rebate a mills tax, which is fine if that's what you guys would like to do.
No,
It's absolutely fine.
I'm tracking on that. Can we look at those comparisons?
Yes,
Sorry for the homework.
it's okay.
But I don't think, we're not in a rush. I mean, they need to know that we're looking at it. We're not necessarily in a rush because the project's not over yet.
Okay, so just,
But you could commit to the pressure washing, go ahead and get your quotes, set your percentage. What percentage are we gonna go with, 100%, 80%? Like, that's another thing we didn't, where you, because you got two decisions there, right? So 3 elements, multiple decisions within them. So your pressure washing, what percentage are you gonna cover? Yeah,
okay, so homework items. Any business through that section that has B-pole, we are to pull their 2025 payment and look to see what that is, prorate it by 12 months, and then we would look at rebating 1 month of that, correct? Is that right?
yes. Then on the pressure washing, I don't see another way of going about it, but you gotta have it appraised, the job appraised, and then agree upon a percentage.
I've got that down here too.
Is that the way you guys would skin it?
If I didn't skin it that way, it would be, as Leanne said, 250 for a home, and then I would raise that for a business, because of course the property's bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost want to say, like, we'll do it, but it's pending a because, like you said, you can have price gouging like crazy on that. And even if you got an independent, it's more, if it's you get three people and they're sitting there evaluating each other's jobs, it's like, hey, guys, we got a way to make some money real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to catch somebody outside of the area, you know. Okay,
Let's say flat rated on pressure washing. And I know it does.
it can. It's really only going to suck for like one or two people. Okay.
Any other discussion?
There's plenty of discussion.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you can do it. There's no textbook answer for this, and some people would say just say sorry business, that sucks for you. And I don't know that there's one solution that's going to be comfortable for
Maybe
everybody.
I just want to do that.
Can we wait till January?
Well,
Well,
what I was gonna ask is, would you be okay if I did the homework and sent it out in an email? And that way maybe we could address it a little faster than coming back to our December meeting?
Yeah.
Would that be good with
That'd be
everybody?
great.
All right, that's what we'll do. Okay, ready to go to comprehensive plan?
The main thing is we all agree that we need to do something.
We had a discussion previously this year about our projects. So Glenn, I know you know a little bit about comprehensive plan. So we have this nice comprehensive plan that's kind of our roadmap. What we need to do is update our comprehensive plan in 2026. We will be looking at what's in here, pulling any items out that maybe aren't feasible anymore, maybe have been completed, and adding new items in that we would like to see going forward. Okay? So our Route 460 water line replacement project that we've just been discussing, that's a current project that we're doing. It should be almost over by the time that we actually do this plan. So I don't know that there's a need to put it in there. The wastewater treatment plant upgrade, we have officially started. They have been down there and have been working a little bit, trying to get things started. There's 3 men that's on the job site down there right now, but in January they anticipate having like 20 men down there to work on the project. So, you know, we're starting baby steps. It's a $19 million project. This I would recommend put in the plan. Police department relocation, that's actually completed now. EMS congressional directed spending. So we do have $354,000 to go toward this project. The town has allocated $300,000 to match. I don't want to take away from what Cindy is going to talk about this evening with you guys, but we did hold a pre-bid meeting up there, and the contractors were asking for construction documents, which we did not have. It is in our PAR, preliminary architectural report, that construction drawing is part of this cost. So Thompson and Litton is working on that. However, because we didn't have that piece of the puzzle, we are going to have to come back and have another pre-bid meeting so we can have that. So everybody is literally comparing apples to apples. You know, one company's not going to suggest you do it this way, another company suggests you do it this way, and there's a big price difference. Everyone will be able to competitively bid on the same document.
So is that location to be out there at the squad?
That is what is proposed here, is to rehab that location. We did get them to price a new build and it was $4 million. And we have $654,000 total to work with. So we did get it priced to build,
What's the ETA on the PA?
January.
Should they have already created these construction drawings? Because, I mean, we've been waiting on this building for 2 years now.
So, just my opinion, if it was part of this,
Yeah,
yes,
should have been in hand.
I would think.
Okay. That's just like a data point, right, for, this upcoming year.
So, but that is our EMS project, and it could be worthy of comprehensive plan. Tazewell Community Foundation.
Oh, I'm sorry, on that last one,
Mhm.
I'm trying to get my history straight on it. So the dollar figures.
Mhm.
So we've got, what was it, 364 in congressional,
354,
354.
yes,
And then from American Rescue Act money, we,
300,
revenue recovery, we put 300 towards it.
yes.
Okay. And then, that funds the whole project? Or are we short money?
So the estimated project cost is 866.
Okay.
I do have a partial way to address the shortfall. There was an error in billing. The Tazewell County gives us $25,000 a quarter for our EMS, and last year they only paid us for 1/4 of that. So they actually owe us $75,000.
Okay.
Is that correct, Jess?
Yes.
Have we got that yet? Okay, so that is an additional $75,000 that will be coming into EMS that we could allocate to this project.
Okay. So 137 short. We'll cross that bridge on funding for the remaining funding, I guess, once we go to construction. So that's
Probably
probably.
been under on every other project so far.
Hey. And the last question I had on that one was it seems like the congressional funds have been held up, and I don't understand what's going on with that, because we have been talking about this for a few years now.
We have,
So I mean, I've heard political jokes on why our funds have been held up, and which is not very funny down on the local level. Do you have a point of contact? Have they given you any?
we do, it's Robert Hilt with USDA
Okay.
Rural Development. I do know that anytime the government shutdown occurs, they get furloughed.
Yeah.
So he has been out of pocket for the last however
But
many
what about
days.
like the last
Yes, so
2 years?
what we're doing right now is something they have asked us to
Oh,
do.
okay, okay.
So
So
that
partially on our side.
that was our actions
Okay.
to get it started and get it rolling.
So I'm gonna ask again, nice to see you guys.
Yeah, we're glad to see you.
I just don't see spending that kind of money on that building,
Well, our portion is 300.
but it's still our money. I mean, when you ride by there and look at that, and I've looked at it every time I go by, that whole thing's not worth $50,000 real money. And I think we saw what we could do at the old bowling alley. I mean, you would be better off to tear that down and start back than to try to redo it.
Leanne did look into a new build. It was $4 million was the quote.
So what we're saying is that
Same way with the
Yeah.
building. It came in much less.
I mean,
But, we could get those bids. We had earmarked 300, but we haven't committed 300. Do our dollars have to be in first?
I don't know how that grant reads.
I mean, it's just, you look at it, you still got a very old building.
How much she likes that location. Well, she is going to talk to us
Yes, tonight.
So maybe temporary housing, tear that down.
I mean, I think you could tear it down and go back to, you need to go in there and start redoing. I mean, just, you know.
I'll throw another wild concept that was pitched out last week in a conversation on the county level, was combining fire department and EMS and getting their $600 congressional funds. That's a completely different spin on it. And I have no clue whether or not it was real serious.
So what was the county doing? I didn't catch all the news last night, but they're like combining and.
Yeah, so, well, on that, they've got congressional funds just like this that they have to spend on the fire department. So the only way that they've been talking about doing one at Spring Bull, the costs are way too high for the money that they have. That if they don't use this money somewhere, it will go away. So that's for the construction on a fire department. While this is going on, that might just be something to entertain a conversation with the county on.
I have spoke with the county administrator. There is an option that they might be able to help us some with that, but we would have to house some fire department apparatus at this location in order to get those funds.
What locations, yeah?
The EMS location on Stills Lane.
Just that the county would possibly provide some funds, but there would be some strings attached.
Possibility funds.
So our portion may go down. It's in the weeds, where you,
It's fine. Okay. Community Foundation, you all had allocated some money to that. They do anticipate being finished the end of this month or next month. They do hope to be open in March. So Aqua Park, this is not necessarily a comprehensive plan, but this is also something we had talked about. And we literally just talked about replacements this morning in our department head meeting. Warhawk Park project is almost complete. There's just a few final touches that we need to do, and that will be completed. Fire department digital sign is complete. We had a very nice dedication ceremony for that. The bowling alley demo has been completed. Farmers Market Pavilion, you all kind of know where we're at with that. They started Saturday working on the footers down there, so they have officially started to work on that.
They're shaping the footers, is that right? That, like breaking them off,
Yes,
portions of it?
right.
And then construction's February, right?
We have a large grant funding for this project. I'll make sure that Kara discusses it when she does her IEDA update in just a little bit. But we have more good news for this project.
Oh, cool.
What did this-
February starts construction, right?
Yes, that's what they're planning. February, they will actually start, and they anticipate being under roof in 2 weeks once they start.
Wow.
Now, under roof, that's not finished, but
What did
Finished
that,
by May.
what did that bid come in?
June.
260,
all in was like 265.
yeah, it was
So
265 to 280.
I would say 265-ish, right there. So, and that was Heritage Metal.
Right.
So, and they have been great to work with so far. So, very, very pleased. So our Farmers Market Pavilion is part of our North Tazewell Revitalization Project. It needs to go in the comprehensive plan. North Tazewell Revitalization is going to be a big undertaking, but the possibilities that we have, that's a great project. So I would definitely recommend that go in there.
And with the applications on the facade improvements coming up in March, that's not something that you would need to put. I guess it would tie into the revitalization, but it's just like a lineup effort, not necessarily.
Correct.
Okay.
I'd add it, so it just gives you a little bit more meat to your project, but, yeah, I definitely want to see that added to the comprehensive plan. Mountain biking trails. Right now, we have allocated $350,000. Tazewell County has grant funds that they are going to give us once we have secured our easements. And that would be a secured funding of $410,000. I would very strongly recommend that that be added to your comprehensive plan. I've got an update on that later. So I don't want to give away too much. Sidewalk maintenance and ADA compliance. Again, we had a department head meeting today, and this was also brought up again today. We are going to be looking at the section on Main Street where Elk Street is. We are going to be repairing that. This budget year, like that we're in right now, there's funds in there for that. So I do think that we need to continue to add sidewalk maintenance into our budget as we begin to prepare for the next years. And I also do think that this needs to be added into our comprehensive plan. Yesterday, Susan and I attended a VDOT meeting down in Lebanon. And this is a very early on conversation, but there is a possibility that we might be able to do a sidewalk project out on Fincastle between, so like the cave and the Ben Bolt red light. And that might be a possibility of some VDOT funding. So I told them that I thought that we would be open to explore that project. So there's a Smart Scale. That was the funding agency that we were working with yesterday. But once we learn a little bit more from that and see how it scores, they felt that that would be a very worthy.
Now, later on, you're gonna be going down Fairground Road.
With sidewalks,
I don't think we have the room to put sidewalks there.
you have to look at how much right of way and if you have to have any easements that you would have to have through there. So I'm not saying no, I don't have that information, what we would need. But I do think that sidewalk maintenance needs to be a part of their comprehensive plan. Something else that had been brought up was installing sewer lines to residents that don't have access. I have actually allocated funds in future budgets to do this. We don't have that many residents that don't have access to town sewer, but there are some streets that is an issue. And part of the reason why I allocated it in future budgets is because right now their crews are tied up with the 460 project. We had discussed primitive camping and night fishing.
I'm sorry, on that last one, talking about water lines, but don't we have a lead, copper water line, big to do coming up?
Yes. I think it's.
Is it in here?
It absolutely needs
You're right.
to be in the comprehensive plan. By November 2026, we have to have a plan in place to replace town-owned service lines that might be affected by lead or copper. By 2037, we have to have those replaced. And there might be funding available to do that, and that is an EPA standard. That is nothing that we have any control of, it is EPA. So, but yes, I want to say that's in here. Primitive camping and night fishing. In the next little bit, I need to know if that is still something that you all would like to pursue.
Yeah, talking with the county, this was a low-hanging fruit. I think it's something easily we can do. Matches Dave and my love for night fishing. It's something we got in common. But the county's had pretty good success with the cabins that they have out in Lakewood. It's been a bit of a revenue generator for them. And our issue is road, like having, we had to put in a road, basically, to be able to have fire EMS go up there. If we're looking, I think when we get our place in Maine, Emily's tired of hearing me ask for the place in Maine. It's like, I'm really excited to see that, but occupancy, having locations for individuals to stay when they come in to visit, like that's on there. Could be a revenue driver for us. A lot of these are expenses. This would be a way to raise your top line revenue after it's paid off. But I'd like to see it. Vote for a minimum for the primitive camping addition.
Okay.
What about
So,
tiny house cabins?
That's it. That's what I was just talking about.
so
The top layer.
I'm hearing add primitive camping, night fishing to
I'm gonna add,
the comprehensive plan.
it's gonna depend on developing that road, like, that's not a no-cost situation, it's not that.
You could zoom out a little bit and make it a Lincolnshire Park. That's something that we've all talked about. It's comprehensive improvements to Lincolnshire Park. You can kind of zoom out and maybe work it that way with a series of objectives underneath it that are prioritized.
But
Would
then
that probably be, would you think that would be more fitting than an isolated? I still want to see camping, but that's like a personal thing.
I do too, but, we've got, you gotta develop a road, and it's a real cost, we gotta just examine it, I guess, more than
Yeah.
set it as,
Yeah.
it's happening.
That really good.
I like that.
Speaking of, Lincolnshire Park improvements, I also think that this is something that if we want to see Air Park flourish, we're going to have to address those fields. I will say that Air Recreation Director, he is really trying, and he's doing good things. So I would really like to see this put into a plan.
I like it. So he's being very aggressive with trying to get leads and make rec department a revenue driver, and with the condition of the fields, it's hard to make it a revenue driver. It's one of those kind of things, you gotta build off each other.
Right.
With that commitment to doing that, I think it's definitely worth it.
To bring people here, you got to improve those conditions.
Road all around.
We had floats at one time, and we had some drawings that had been passed down to me, and there's room for improvement out there. So I would really like to see this added to our plan. Another project that had been discussed was using the rainy lot for soccer fields. So where do you all stand with that thought? Is that something that we would like to explore more?
I'd like to explore reference to pickleball.
Yeah, I think you turn it multi-sport. Anytime that you're not hemmed into one athletic type, like that's
A lot of
better.
people love pickleball courts.
I'd say for long-term maintenance, I'd probably shy away from turf and go with grass.
I was gonna be good to pick the ball down. Wasn't no net.
Yeah, with the multi-use, you get a walking space, it's closed, easily accessible, it's flatter. And whatever we do there, just, I would stay away from buildings. I mean, if you run, the less we have to build on it, the less worry you have as far as that. But it's a good way to make it accessible, usable, and beneficial.
On the public works department, like, the space that they're allocated in the back, like, that's good? Is that plenty? Is it adequate? Are there any talks?
There are some things that we're gonna have to do out there to that space, such as, there's a shed, a covering out there now, but as far as for this winter time, we're not gonna be able to use that for our salt bins. They're still gonna be located back behind here. However, in preparation for the next winter season, we would like to address that a little bit better. We're gonna have to make some modifications, but I think they're gonna be okay out there.
Okay.
Okay. So, do we want to add this also, comprehensive plan?
Yes.
And to put it under recreation? We had discussed earlier the projects that were not feasible at this time. The VDOT property that is out on Market Street, they're not interested in selling. We had had discussion about the fairground property.
On the fairground property, if things start in line with the movement of the county fire department, that space, the reason I wanted to target fairground, and it's not because I don't like the fair, like, that's not the point. The point is the real estate that you have to develop in order to get a revenue generating asset, like another restaurant, hotel, whatever you want to name it, is like, that's the most ideal property that we have because it's connected to water, sewer, all those things. If the county does move their fire department and that space, that corner, you know, we got gas tanks there, but a section, bottom left-hand side, if you're looking at it on a map, would become available. And in speaking with the county, they would be interested in working with us on either procuring it or putting together to get something on there. Yeah,
That portion or the whole thing?
not the whole thing.
That portion.
Okay. Lower left-hand where the garage, where the fire department is.
Okay.
So that, I'd like to see that included
Okay.
because we know with Mills Tax revenue, fast food restaurants are significant towards town revenue.
There was discussion about the Barnes property. They would be selling the property, but someone else is going to be buying that. We do have a plan in place to keep the Barnes Trail, so that will remain a town responsibility. Natural gas had been mentioned before. The cost to get that here would be more than what we would have to allocate to something like that. And maybe in the future, once it would be closer to us, maybe that's something we revisit. But at this time, I don't know that there would be funding for that.
Do you know if on the county level they have a plan for getting, because we don't have a pipeline, right?
Right.
And I think when we discussed it, maybe in the spring, like coming from Woodville, it would just be something good that we could know as they continue to work that.
I haven't heard any update
Okay,
But I can reach out and ask.
okay, sure, thanks.
These were account balances, this is outdated. I really thought the lead service line was in there. I thought it was.
Well, so the lead service line was one of them, and what was that behemoth, 900-page document that was sent out, Cumberland Plateau Emergency Planning?
I know what you're talking about.
Basically, there's like an emergency plan, there's emergency planning that goes on at the Cumberland Plateau Planning District level. And within that, we had to sign off and approve it and say, yeah, we acknowledge these things, and here's like the game plan, the resources, it's a really big document. But within that, it did identify shortfalls that we had for emergency planning. And we do know, like, we had a lien come through, we had a generator issue, we had communications issues, and that seems like something that could be fit into that for strategic planning when it comes to, well, acts of God, right?
So, the Cumberland Plateau Planning District is I guess you could say blanket for several different localities. And it is a water reserve plan. It just, like you said, in acts of God, like Hurricane Helene, it was being put in place because of that type of occurrence. But it's actually for the whole Cumberland Plateau Planning District. The four counties, Tazewell, Buchanan, Russell, and Dickinson.
But within that, they analyze each individual municipality. And there were elements within that we just didn't have check boxes on. But hazard planning, I guess, would be added to that list.
On the actual thing.
I sent an email with the page number on it. Hey, do you guys care if we talk for just a few minutes? So next month in December, we called together a meeting with the IEPA, the Planning Commission, and the Town Council to work together on the comprehensive plan. And the reason for calling together a meeting like that is so that everybody can collaborate. Right? We're taking the folks who stood up and volunteered to be involved in local government and rallying everybody together to get a comprehensive plan, right? To get the ideas all out there. I do think success in that meeting is organization in that meeting is going to be important, because just like even we saw with things that we discussed this summer, there's a lot of rabbit holes to go down. And Ms. Leanne and I spent some time talking about like a framework for that. And I do think to not go backwards when we meet in December, we need to think about the construction in which we're going to facilitate that meeting so that we have the most beneficial use, of the limited time that we all have. So my recommendation in that one, and if you're cool with it would be to allow Leanne to facilitate set timelines for each topics that we're going to be discussing, because there's I mean, if you've read through the comprehensive plan, there's several components to it. And we've got, what, like an hour and a half of time? 2 hours. So we've got 2 hours of time to get through, I don't know, a 200-page document. So when we, maybe before that meeting, we can figure out the game plan for how to make that most effective. But my recommendation would be to let Ms. Leanne facilitate it, and then that way we can hold to a timeline.
And I hope to have a kind of an agenda, a topic outline for that meeting. And I was going to send it out to all of the groups, so we'll get to that meeting prior to. The Dropbox that you access your council packet to has the comprehensive plan in it. If you need a hard copy, we can provide you one of those.
Sounds good.
Any questions? Okay.
We'll All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Nate, you care to give the invocation, please?
Of course. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much we can gather tonight, that we can practice our freedom to assemble and to be active in the choices that are made for our town. We thank you for those that serve. Thank you for those that attend. We ask you to just cause peace and conversation rather than confrontation during a meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please be seated. All right, we'll start the meeting with the special presentations and requests. The first thing is the swearing in of Councilmember Glenn King. Glenn, congratulations on winning your election, and I'll hand it over to the Tazewell County Clerk of the Court, Charity Hurst.
Thank you for inviting me. You all make me feel old though, because I think I taught or from the town manager to the council. But I'm so proud of you. I'm excited to have the honor to swear you in today. So if you would raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Glenn A. King Jr.
I, Glenn A. King Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and the Code of the Town of Tazewell,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as a member of the Town of Tazewell Town Council,
as a member of the Town of Tazewell
Town Council, for a term commencing
for a term commencing
November 18th, 2025,
November 18th, 2025,
and ending December 31st, 2026,
and beginning December 31st of 2026,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
It's official. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next on the agenda is something that's been long overdue. We'd like to recognize a former mayor of the town of Tazewell, former mayor Donald Buchanan, and Don, who we all know and love in here, is a good friend of mine. I've known Don since I moved to this town in the 6th grade. And he's been very, very, inspirational to me as far as being involved in the town. Don was my Little League baseball coach, and he's been an influence in my life since the day I moved to this town. And he was served the town of Tazewell as a council member from July 1st of 2022 all the way through December 3rd of 2011. He was vice mayor from January 12th of 2010 through the end of that term, December 3rd, 2011. At that point, he became the mayor of the town of Tazewell, and where he served from December 3rd of 2011 to December 31st of 2018. Don did a great job doing that, and we appreciate all of his work, and I continue to serve with Don on other boards throughout the community. Don continues to do great work throughout this community, and we appreciate all he's done. And with that, we've got this picture that we're going to put up on the wall. If you'd like to join me in doing that, Don? Appreciate it. Thank you.
no recreation director, whatever. So we hired a Tom Bank, and they built the pool. Basically, didn't build Lincoln Shire. We just played. That's Danny. That's Dave. We played on ruts, played in swamps, but we played. Had a good time, a lot of people, 20 teams, tournament every weekend. And it was a community event. And after that, I served on council, coached Little League, basketball, football, Little League, baseball. But I've been actually involved in probably 3 good projects in town. One was the YMCA. Served on, helped the town donate some money, been on the board there for a good long bit. But also, I'm on the Tazewell Community Foundation, along with Brad. We're building a medical office building. 85% complete, probably go open up in February, March. That's the way I'm reading. We got doctors coming. That's an economic development for this town. So I'm proud of the accomplishments that our community has done. Not me, but the community. That's all it's about. That's all I have to say. At one time, and then he went off, and then he's back on. And David's been on there for a long time. And so the other guys, good luck. Make the town proud. Thank you. Get your pitch on the ball.
Thank you.
I would like to say, you know, I did serve with Donnie previously on council. His family is a staple in this community. His dad, Mac, legendary. He was the fire chief on Buchanan's greenhouse. His brother, Roger. Donnie has raised 2 fine boys, Aaron and Chase. Aaron's a coach at Richland. Chase works for Lee Dot and coaches down in Bristol. And he's never changed. His family's never changed. I don't see him like I used to, but I'm real proud to know him.
Chasing grandkids, so that's everything.
So,
4 of us playing sports.
so we can talk about that, they make things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for fine comments.
All right. Next, we have another special presentation to someone that I personally got to serve with, former council member Emily Combs Davis. And we have a nice little plaque and gift for her. And I asked her to come join me. I'll read this for everyone. I'll read it. This has got the town logo on here. This is presented to Emily Combs Davis in recognition of her many years of outstanding service and dedication to the town of Tazewell, Virginia, and her commitment to our citizens and to the prosperity of our town. Serving the town of Tazewell, Virginia as a member of the town council from January 1st of 2019 to June 30th, 2025. And I appreciate all your help. That's keep me in mind. And we have another gift for you as well.
Thank you very much. It was my honor. I love serving.
And next, I expect just as much a round of applause for our audit presentation.
Say all these. Diane Apple is going to give the presentation this year, and I'll just be back here to answer any questions that might come up.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you all tonight, and I'll do my best to hit the highlights and not take up too much of your time. I want to start off that the audit went very well. Jessica and Leanne are both great to work with. They answer all of our wonderful questions that we have. The town received an unmodified opinion, which means we believe that the financial statements are materially correct. I put it at each of your receipts, a copy of the presentation. Leanne also has it on the board up front. If you want to turn to page 1, we can go over some of your historical financial data. I was kind of waiting. You got it? Put down one more page. Okay. At the top, you'll see that general fund balance at the end of fiscal year 2025, general fund balance was approximately $4.5 million. And your enterprise, so your water sewer fund net position was $6.4 million. Overall, your total cash and investments was $6.8 million. We would deem all of that a healthy financial condition that the town has right now. Down below, you'll see your general fund outstanding debt. This year it did increase to $270,000 this year, and that was because you issued a loan to purchase a garbage truck. Enterprise debt was $3.3 million. I know that you guys have a sewer project coming up, so there was a little bit of debt drawn down in 25, but very little. So overall outstanding debt for the town was 3.6. Down below, you'll see that you actually have a net pension asset. And so what that means is that what's expected to be paid out over the lifetime of those that retire with the town, you guys actually have contributed more. So you're showing a net pension asset in your financial statement. Down below are your OPEB liabilities. You actually have 2 OPEB liabilities that total $2.8 million. One of them being LODA through VRS, and the other being your standalone health insurance plan. If you look down below, you'll see a line graph of the information that I just talked about above. I did forget to mention, and you can see on the line graph, between 2022 and 2023, you'll see a spike up, and that was related to the ARPA funds that you received. This was a one-time funding. You received about $4.2 million. So overall, COVID had a positive impact on the town. However, with everybody, there has been inflation as a result, so that is something that you guys will have to deal with going forward. On page 2 is a summary of your original tax assessments. Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne, I didn't think about turning it. So on Leanne's page up there, it's going to be sideways. This year you did have a reassessment, and
Sorry, I was going to try to turn it. I can get it.
I'm sorry, guys. You did have a reassessment this year, which increased your levy by about $185,000. Down below in the green, you'll see your annualized growth rates. Real estate has an annualized growth rate of 1.8%. Public Service Corp, which the assessment comes directly from the state, has an annualized growth rate of 3.5%. And personal property has an annualized growth rate of 6.7%. That increase is due to the car values just increasing over the last few years. As car values start to decrease, as we would expect they would, we would see that to come back down. On page 3, we provided you with a copy of our audit recommendations. 2 that I want to point out is related to your water and sewer reconciliation. This is not necessarily the easiest tasks to do, but we do recommend that the town continue to work toward completing a reconciliation each month and that be completed accurately. Ideally, what we would like to see is that someone takes the prior year outstanding balance plus the amount that's billed for the month and factor in what was collected, and that will come down to what you would think would be your outstanding and compare that to what's actually recorded in the books. So we would like that. I know that they are working on that, so just continue to work towards that. The other relates to credit card documentation. As part of our audit, we do sample credit card purchases. During our sample, we did notice that there were some receipts that we received, and we may have received the receipt, but they were lacking detailed documentation. So you know how like sometimes you'll get a receipt from a business and it doesn't show you the detail of what was actually purchased. Just make sure that the employees are turning in detailed receipts. That way you can document that it's appropriate for town purposes. On page 4, and it continues to page 5, is a copy of your BRS attestation report. The state requires us to test specific items that are reported to BRS. During our testing, we did notice that there were employer contributions on the payroll register that did not agree to BNAB for 2 employees. Payroll has been made aware and they've corrected this, but we do recommend that the payroll starts completing a reconciliation each month, comparing what BNAB has to what payroll has to ensure that everything, any differences are corrected. If you flip over to page 6 is our letter with those charged with governance. This letter talks about any significant estimates that are used in the audit. It also will notify you of if the town implemented any new standards. For FY 2025, you were required to implement GASB 101, which talks about compensated absences. Under this new standard, you're required to report or estimate the amount of leave that's going to be used plus paid out by your employees at termination, whereas before we typically would just record what was to be paid out. So it's talking about your vacation of your employees. So there was, as a result of that standard, we did have to restate last year's financial statements, but it's just because of the new standard implemented. In addition, in this letter, we would note that if we had any issues during the audit, we had none. Your staff and management are both great to work with. So we like to say that you received the boilerplate letter. On pages 9 through 12, in the letter, we're also required to provide you a copy of the proposed audit entries, and those are on page 9 to 12. I'm not going to go into detail about those, but they are here for your review. And finally, in the appendix, this is all the upcoming standards that the town will have to implement or consider whether or not they would need to implement it. So with that, you can read that. They always like to say if you're having trouble sleeping at night, this would be great to put you to sleep. But I'm going to stop there to see if you have any questions.
One thing I'll mention is very few localities have a pension asset. I can think of just a handful that I've worked with. Now, I don't think the market did too well today, so that asset probably dropped a little bit. But very few localities have a pension asset. Most localities are looking at having to increase their funding, their monthly contributions, because they have pension obligations. So you're very fortunate in that regard.
We did see, you saw quite a few localities had it a few years ago, but they've all turned back to liabilities. So you guys are an exception, yes, correct?
Yeah, exception is not. The other thing that jumped out at me, is that fund balance definitely increased with the ARPA funds. And that's good, because we've had inflation, we had a couple years together, about 20%. So hopefully you can keep that fund balance up there. But we do understand that's going to be a challenge.
Just one quick question. In terms of general fund, like emergency funds, it's one thing I always try to keep in mind, but is there a recommendation for how much that's funded? What you see from different audits and different municipalities?
So Corbin would be able to answer that. GFO8 typically says 2 months of your expenditures.
Okay.
I think, Corbin, you normally recommend higher reserves for smaller localities.
The smaller you are, then 2 months would be effectively 16% of your annual expenditures, which would really not be that much. For a small town, I'd be closer to 25%. In your general fund would be a healthy level, which for the town would be roughly 2 million, a little bit over 2 million. It's not too high now by any means, but kind of a minimum of 2 million. And then the other thing is, if you know you have projects coming up, I worked with a county administrator. I thought he was doing a wonderful job. He was there 5, 6, 8, 9 years, and his fund balance would build up, and then it would drop down. It would build up, and it would drop down. Now, if interest rates were low during that time period, he'd finance it and just kind of keep his fund balance sitting back there as a reserve. But generally, we saw his fund balance go up and drop down with each project. And that's really the best way to do it. So your question is a great question, but if you can get into a pattern of saving up for projects, that's the best way to do it.
Which is basically what it says.
So, I did notice the line, the adjustment for the new standard, fairly significant, about $155,000. That's basically just taking it from where we were before. It's not a $150,000 change, it's just,
No,
it's from this line to this.
Correct, and you have to remember, it's an estimate. So like, these are all, we're estimating, to kind of tell you the process of how we did it. We took usage from a prior year, and we said, okay, on average, your employees took this percentage of their time off. And then we basically said, okay, we're gonna expect that they use this amount, and then also they're gonna accrue it. And you guys are unique in that the way your leave works, you kind of, employees accrue it for an entire year, but it's not able to be used until that January. So that played a factor into why it increased so much. It has been, it's been the norm that everybody's increased. So it's not anything out of the ordinary. We've had some very significant increases by implementing this standard.
yeah, one of the things, like on sick leave, a lot of places don't pay out when you retire your sick leave. But under this standard, you report a liability for the sick leave that you think is going to be used prior to someone leaving. So it really, it's an unusual standard because it never ties back to actual dollars. So it's an estimate of what's going to be used. So.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Oh, you're still in good, aren't
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
But one thing I'll mention, if you do have questions,
Oh, yes.
our contact information is right there in front of the handout.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, next on the agenda, Imagination Library Program Update. Erica Galloway, Executive Director of Tazewell County Public Library.
Hello,
Hello.
how's it going? I brought some literature for y'all. I came back a while ago when we were trying to get this up and going. And as of September, we were able to get full funding for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So what this program is, I know y'all know, but I'll reiterate it again. It's for children from ages 0 to 5. Once they're registered, Dolly will mail directly to them at no cost to the family. One book every month until they turn 5 years old, at which point they graduate from the program. And I'm so glad we have a nice little crowd here tonight because it's such a good program, so good to spread awareness. So as community leaders, I know y'all are aware of the link to literacy and how third grade literacy rates ties into high school graduation rates, which has all kinds of implications for community well-being, public health, all those kinds of things. So we're really excited that we've been able to launch Dolly Parton Imagination Library. We went live in early September 4th, I think. And so we've been registering kids for a little over 2 months now. And countywide, we're looking at about 25% total eligible kids who are currently registered, which I'm very excited about. The typical participation you can see is around 65%, so we've still got a little bit of ways to go, but after only 2 months, I think that's awesome. Tazewell is actually leading the way as far as registration, because Tazewell has 28% participation. So I think that's pretty cool. So I think yearly that comes out to around 2,000 to 2,500 once you look at the state of Virginia match. So all in all, not too bad of a price tag for bettering our community and helping our children. So I just wanted to give y'all that update. I have a stack of registration forms for any of y'all who have kids, family members, anyone you know, ages 0 to 5, make sure they get registered. If they have any problems, there were a few kinks at first to work through. But I think we've got all those straightened out. If anybody has any problem, just tell them to give us a call at the library and we will manually get them registered. But I'll leave these with y'all, if y'all just want to spread them around everywhere. Just help us spread the word. Thanks for helping us secure funding for the project. And yeah, we're really excited about it.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda is Police Department recognition. Chief Lambert.
Thank you, Mayor, for indulging us to come tonight. I want to thank all of our council members. I want to thank Miscellaneous and Miss Susan and all their staff for everything that they do for us, Miss Jess, Miss Alice. I also want to thank the sheriff. He's in the building, and we have a wonderful, wonderful working relationship. Richlands, Bluefield, Commonwealth Attorney's Office, it's the best it's ever been. I do believe that our law enforcement community as a whole is stronger than it's ever been in our county. And I thank you, Sheriff. He's been a big part of getting that done. And thank you, Mr. Buchanan. It was very nice to me the first time that I showed up and met you. I'd never had a lot of dealings with mayors before, and Don made me very comfortable. What I come before you tonight is do a little recognition and to really just brag a little bit on our staff. They've stepped up to the plate and they're really trying to bring in money. We know money is an issue across all boards, and we're doing our best. It's small amounts, but those small amounts is making a tremendous difference for us. First off, I want to introduce two of our new officers. Gentlemen, if y'all step forward. Mr. Ethan Mills here first. He is here from in the town of Tazewell. You don't get to choose sometimes from your own population, from your applications. But Mr. Mills came and he lives, as I said, here in the town of Tazewell. He's a great young man. He's funny. He got a great personality. He fits in really good. Then we have Mr. Hunter Jones. He came from the Department of Virginia Corrections over at Pocahontas. He came to us, and they both just completed the academy the 16th of this month, or last month, I'm sorry, 16th of last month. Just got off last week of your, or was it this week? Which got off your last week. So they got turned loose. This week is their first week per se out by themselves. So we want to thank them, and I wanted you to meet their council. And over here is our fine town manager, which y'all obviously have met from the very first day. But I just wanted y'all to see their faces.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank
you. This is a new face as well. This is Robert Morgan. We've got Bobby Morgan. Bobby came from retiree from the military, went to Richlands and worked there 14 years in the administration side of the PD. He retired, plus worked at Walmart full-time as well. He retired from the military, worked at Walmart full-time, and worked at Richlands PD full-time. He had 2 full-time jobs. He decided he wanted to retire. So he did, and now he's retired working. But he works part-time, he's in the office. Bobby's been a great asset to us as a whole, as the police department, but to me and Sean especially, and Will. He brings forth a lot of knowledge when it comes to the administration side of things, and he has a lot of contacts. And with that being said, Bobby has been working on some small grants. Of course, the Walmart grant was Shop with the Hero. He was able to secure that grant. So we didn't get the amount that we were hoping for, but we did end up with $1,500 from Walmart. And by the way, the Shop with the Hero is December 13th at 7 a.m. at Claypole Hill, Walmart. We beg you to come. It's a great event. I take no credit for it. Bobby's done it all. Him and the school system has composed that, and we invite Sheriff's Office and anyone else. And of course, we know as the town that, and Chief and Cindy both provide people, and they come willingly, they don't force them to come. Cindy's always been a great proponent of our Shopper Hero. Bobby also secured another small grant, but it was a big footstep for us. He found it was called the Forensic Acquisition software. And it was $5,300 total, and it provided downloading for cell phones and computers. He was able to secure that with us only having to pay $2,300 out of the total $5,300. So we should be getting that. That also covered the training as well. So we have that forthcoming. Sheriff's always been, once again, very, very helpful in doing that, but they're busy like everyone else. So we're going to try to make that on our own, and we're going to have some help by all means. But once again, please don't forget the 13th if we encourage you to come. Thanks, Mom. Missy may faint on us. She's a little nervous. Miss Waters been with us, well, she's been with you all a whole lot longer than she's been with me. Missy is well known in our community and well liked in our community. We asked her to help us, and she's always willing to help in anything that she can do. We tried to find ways to have a shower in our new PD. There was a grant that was put out by the state, and some people was on that board, I think. But anyways, there was a grant that was put out by the state for mental health. So by a long shot, we was like, we can get a shower out of this, because they've done away with all the weightlifting and anything that's physical fitness. It's been goodbye for a long time. And matter of fact, there is still some body armor grants, ammunition and guns and things like that is the thing of the past anymore. So Missy took her first stab at her first grant and was very successful and secured $20,000 for a shower for our new PD that we truly have to have, but we need. Now, with that being said, we was like, let's see what we can get out of this. So Missy went a step further, and now when you're showering, you can listen to the music in the shower.
Interesting.
So hopefully in the next month, we'll see some work, and I think it's only supposed to take a couple of days after they get started. The town's going to do the sewer and drain part, and then we have Cliff Forster that was the lowest quote that's going to come and do the work for us. Thank you, Missy, for that. And she done it for everybody in our police department. Deputy Chief Lowe, he's been out telling stories. You know, the fisherman tells us how big the fish was. He's been hunting, and he shot the biggest buck he's ever shot in his life, but it got away. Just so. Deputy Chief Lowe has done tremendous work for our police department. Things that nobody really knows that he does, he does. He takes a lot of burden off me. He really helps me tremendously. Training come up, and it's a total of 80-hour seating hours. And it's 3 parts, and I went to the first 2, and unfortunately on the third one, I had to be out of town. I don't know I'm going to that one. That one was a tough one. But it's a 3-part, first part is called Servant Officer, and it's a 20-hour part, and then plus you have homework just about every night that goes with that. And it's transforming your mindset to re-engage your thought process and to sort of just initiate a fire to get you going. As I said, that one was a 20-hour one. He went back for the second one, which was the intentional leader. It's a 20-hour, and there wasn't really a whole lot of homework in that one. I enjoyed that one. That one wasn't too tough. But it engages to be able to see what your perspective is in your guidance of your leadership. And it shows you how to deal with the difficult and non-difficult. And then the third one, which was horrendous, it was a 40-hour one. It was a week long, and it was the master leader. And what that does, it gets you as the connector and as the communicator with your outside folks plus your inside folks. So he took that upon himself, wanting to go that to make a better leader. And by all means, short time that he's been out, there's been a tremendous difference that he's got us in different paths, the right paths. He was thrown into the mix on some grants, and he was able to secure from the Community Foundation $9,400. Matter of fact, that check came in today. But that was for our new drone. Matt Peary's going to be our pilot. We sent him for a free school back 5 months ago, somewhere in that neck of the woods. But that came up, we knew we were wanting to do this. We didn't know how we were going to get the drone, but we've been working on this for many months. Finally secured this grant. The drone has actually came in. We're waiting on Officer Peary, I think, to finish his pilot's license, which is a rigorous test, I understand. So we're waiting on completion of that, and we should have that up and running, hopefully very, very soon. Also, going back to, I got attacked a little bit on Facebook when I announced that Deputy Chief had successfully completed his leadership classes. And it really upset me that there's, and I don't know if it was a citizen of our town or if it was just a key warrior, but that training was also secured up under the Southwest Academy Foundation, which was a little over $2,100 what it cost for those classes. We got those free as well, working with the Academy. Wanted to throw that out there. Come on up here. Here's our right-hand man. Sean keeps us really in line. Come on over, Sean. I've worked with Sean since 1996, 97? 99.
You started before me.
Just a month or two before that. But me and Sean's worked together off and on ever since 1999. He's very valuable to our department and to our citizens. Sean is willing to help anyone, and he's never a confrontational individual, but he is always willing to help whoever. Sean does our accreditation, and all of us accreditation people in here knows that's not easy job by all means. Matter of fact, there's 4, 5, 6 of us in here that works closely with that, and it's not an easy task. It's a very difficult task. Sean keeps us on task. He hosted the first state accreditation training in Tazewell County 3 years ago. 3 years ago? No.
This year.
Was it this year?
Yeah. We done it at the fair.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. It was this year. Sorry.
First time in 2025.
Yes.
And
Okay.
this year, the state.
Yes. So he was able to get that hosted here, and we actually had people that came long ways. We had packed house actually. Later on, Sean was contacted by the state director of accreditation, Todd Clintonfield, and asked Sean if he had interest of sitting on the board through the state of the review committee of the SPOCs, or there's 100 and, I got it state standards were 300 bullets. So that means there's got to be a minimum of 300 or 3,000 pieces of paper that goes with this. So Sean was contacted by the state and said, would you be interested in setting on our board for a 50-man department or less for the review committee? So Sean was chosen they didn't reach out to us, they reached out to Sean because they know the value that Sean has. So he agreed and went on board, and with that opened up many doors for us at Tazewell Police Department. It was back in the end of August, 1st of September, Todd Cleanfield reached out to me and he said, I need you to make a recommendation for Sean to receive the Accreditation Manager of the Year Award. They were reaching out to different localities. Long story short, the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission chose Sean right out of 140 accreditation managers or employees of accreditation. Sean was chosen through the state as being the accreditation manager of the year. So Tazewell Town and Tazewell Police Department is on the map, just letting you all know. And it's because of the hard work that you see sitting in this room. Nothing to do with me, but Tazewell PD and the town of Tazewell is on the map. Matter of fact, the 3 awards that come from the state accreditation was all Southwest Virginia people. So that was very respectful for Southwest Virginia. But I want to thank you guys for supporting us. Thank the town manager for always supporting her staff. I know that Miss Vicki sometimes gets really mad at us, and that's usually me. but I want to thank everybody for coming here, and I want to thank the community. We have great community working relation. We will be back next month with another presentation. But also I want to throw out to Wayfair. They donated us some tables for our police department. They contacted us, and that was through Bobby as well, by the way.
We like to show you guys appreciation for your efforts and all that you all do. We always appreciate the hard work and the grant funding, hard work you do throughout the community and the town, and all that you do for us. So.
Thank you. Hey guys, let's all get a photo real quick, if y'all don't mind. You guys want to stand up?
Yes.
Miss Leanne? Do we have anybody directing us which hand which, guys? We had pictures the other day, and it took 2 hours to figure out which was your right and which was your left. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next on the agenda is local business recognition, which we don't have. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the council meeting on October 14th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. Have any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, motion passes. Next, we have the approval of the financial statements and the financial report for October 2025. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
You got a motion?
Second.
I've got a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. All right, motion passes.
Next, we have committee and conference updates. The Planning Commission Committee, we have zoning, building, and property maintenance official early.
We met on November 3rd, 2 Mondays ago. The first business we had was the county has approached us to approach David Ball by the business counter for the fire department. So we have to address some zoning changes and some uses to add that to our zoning code, which we'll go over here later. Second thing we went over was accessory dwelling units. We discussed that, and if you do any of those, it's just like building a house, it's just smaller, but it still has to meet all the setbacks. And somebody approached us about closing Bishop Street, but they haven't finalized that with the neighbor, so that'll probably come up next month.
Any discussion? Thank you. Next, we have the Industrial Economic Development Authority update. IEDA Chairperson Spivey.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hope you all are doing well. We also met on November 3rd. I think our meeting was more fun. We had a little party because we just had a really good feeling that Glenn was going to win and become promoted to town council. So we had a great time sharing some food together, but we also spent most of our meeting in preparation for our joint December meeting with you all, talking about updated what kind of projects we'd like to target. So we feel prepared to meet with you all in December. We also reviewed kind of our outstanding EVAG agreements. We're still missing some documentation from some business owners who had applied. So we made the decision to basically let them know one final time to please turn in documentation before the end of the year so that their awards can be finalized by Brad. One really exciting update is we did receive the CPROP funding from the Cumberland Plateau Planning District of $50,000, which is going to go towards paving at the Farmers Market Pavilion once that work gets underway in 2026. And I have scheduled a brief call with Jordan Dillon for next week to just kind of chart out some potential funding pathways for the Riverside Drive property. So yeah, we're still rocking and rolling. Do you all have any questions for us? Things to think about?
I think there was something that Manager Regan mentioned earlier that we were going to hand over. You were talking about grant funding earlier? Is that the CPROP? Okay, I just want to make sure we covered it.
I didn't want to steal her thunder.
Right. Just want to make sure we covered everything.
Kara probably don't know this, but yesterday they poured the center footers for the pavilion.
Ooh, I drove by over the weekend and saw them digging, and I was quite excited about it. So it's very fun.
That's great.
Thank you all.
Just keep up the good work. Construction starts in February.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you. Next, we have an update from Tazewell today. Emily Combs Davis for the second time today. Executive Director of Tazewell today.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Just wanted to give you a quick update on what we have coming up. So, coming up on Thanksgiving Day, we have the turkey trot, which Kara is very much involved with. Actually, pretty much Kara just takes it and runs with it. But it's a great event. It's really fun. Get up Thanksgiving morning, 9 a.m., go for a 5K run or walk. But it's great fun. There's awards for a bunch of different age groups. There's an award for fastest dog, fastest stroller, best costume, and we also do it as a food donation. So we partner with a Child Should Lead Them food pantry, and we encourage people to bring non-perishable items to donate to the food pantry there. And there's also an award for the most food donated. So, and part of the proceeds from this also go towards a Child Should Lead Them food pantry. So that is the first thing that we have happening. Another thing that we have happening is the trees that are up on Main Street. We've done it in years past where they've actually been on the sidewalk, on the street. We're gonna do it a little bit different this year. We're actually gonna put them in the mini park and at the library in the grass. So that way they're kind of consolidated. Let people sponsor those trees, decorate them. We've figured out how to get power to all of the different places that we need. And I think it'll be neat to see it all together in a little tree village. So, and we'll ask for people to vote for their favorite, and I'm working on a good prize for whoever wins that. Then we have the winter market. That is December 6th, and that is pretty much an all-day event. The winter market goes from 10 until 3, so we'll have a bunch of vendors out on the street. Get your holiday shopping just knocked out at the market. You know, we have all of our shops along Main Street. They'll also, I'm sure, be having specials and be doing all of their good stuff too. During the winter market, we have a gingerbread house decorating competition that's in the supervisor's building. It's always really neat to see the competition, see all of the different decorations. But along with that, we've usually had a gingerbread house workshop. And this year, we're actually going to be able to have it on Friday night in the Board of Supervisors building. So we're selling tickets to this workshop. It's $25. You get your gingerbread house, all the decorations you want. We'll have expert help available there. We'll give you some free hot chocolate, a couple snacks, a fun time. And then you just leave your house there for the competition. So, one-stop shop. Other things that I know that Zach, for one, is anxiously anticipating.
Place in Maine?
Place in Maine.
Hey.
I don't have that deliverable yet. But like I told you the other day, that he did contact me with questions, so I know that he is working on finalizing that. So hopefully I'll have something on that by our next meeting.
Now, just to get everybody to speed, Place in Maine is?
Place in Maine, we had a grant through the Appalachian Regional Commission that was also partnered with DHCD and Friends of Southwest Virginia. And they brought in a consulting group, Place in Maine, and they came into town. They were here for 2 days. We met with them, we gathered a bunch of information, they took a whole bunch of numbers stuff together that Zach loves. And as part of it, we also had a community visioning tour. So there were a couple of different properties that we identified along Main Street that were either vacant or underutilized, and just get some ideas on what the community would like to see in those areas. So it was really neat, and there, as part of that, with Virginia Main Street, there is a app that I can use called a Booms Tracker, which is building opportunities on Main Street. And they were able to go through each individual parcel on Main Street and upload all of the information onto the Booms Tracker while they were here. So that's a great time saver and is great for me to be able to keep track of stuff as things go on.
Part of the reason I've been bugging you and fascinating you for that report, one, the data is good. Like they presented kind of a rough draft to folks in town and to a few members from, probably several members from the IEDA. I can't remember how many people were in the meeting. But anyway, it was somewhere around September. But because of the community impact, and it was awesome to see. I was in the office, but it was great to see members of the community get out and have their post-it notes and say what they'd like to see. Where we're meeting on the comprehensive plan upcoming, it's December 1st. December the 1st. I don't know if they do it, but if they could get us that content so that we could, it's the planning commission, it's the IEDA, it's the town council, so that we can implement some feedback that we've solicited from our members of the community. That's part of the reason I want that. So I don't necessarily need the finished product,
Right,
but if they can give us that section,
okay,
just to say, hey, here's a recap of what folks were interested in, we
okay,
can implement that into the comprehensive plan.
okay.
Thank you.
That sounds great.
And ice skating rink this Friday?
Ice skating rink, town is doing, and it is gonna be out at, Lincolnshire, Tennis Courts, and it's open this weekend, isn't it?
I had it under miscellaneous business.
Yeah.
Yes, grand opening this Friday.
And it's what, $6?
$6 includes admission and skate.
Hey, I had a question. How'd bingo go?
Bingo went pretty good. We didn't have as many people show up as we would like. I think the government shutdown probably
Yeah.
affected us. Everybody's a little economically unsure at that moment. So, yeah, it went good. Have looked at dates. We're planning on having them more regularly next year. We're looking at, we can have up to 7 under the licensing that we have. So right now, we're looking at 3, so not 3, sorry, we're looking at 6. So 3 of those would be partnering with another organization, like we partnered with Project Graduation, and we partnered with THSCM Boosters. So that allows them to raise money, and then in return, they help us with the logistics and putting on our bingo that allows us to raise money.
Okay, good.
So,
That sounds good.
mhm.
Thanks.
What time is excuse me, I gotta go back, what time is the trot starts on Main, does it start?
Starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah, at 9 o'clock.
9 a.m.,
Yeah.
Main Street.
Mhm. Right in front of the library.
Yeah, I know. But so, where is it, what's the route you will be running?
I can send you a link to it so you can have a map, but it goes down Lyons, out Maplewood, from the high school, down Castle and back up the hill, back to Main Street.
It seems even last year when, we finally had a not amazing weather day.
Yeah.
It was a great turnout.
We paid the weather tax, and we already have 106 people signed up. People from Florida, from Ohio, from North Carolina, obviously tons of people from Tazewell and in Virginia too. But I've been really pleased with how you can tell that people come back home and visit, and we are capturing them on a fun, probably cold morning.
On that note, I'm signed up, and Cindy, I'm glad you're here. You need to hear that I'm signed up and I'm running this race, so have somebody.
And Stan,
I'm not signed up.
you can ask, I love the turkey trot. One of my favorite parts about living in a small town is kind of if you see it and you want to work for it, you can do it and you have support. So this is our 5th year doing the turkey trot, and each year I go to Stan, I go to Sydney, I said, hey, can you help us? And they're like, yes, absolutely. So I've already met with our officer that's going to help that morning with our very small road closure, and they know where our people are going. So it is quite fun to participate, and I think that that's kind of our culture that we have. So thank you all very much. It's very fun. Brad needs to come out too, right, Brad? There we go.
If you're a serious runner, you are timed.
Yeah.
But if you're not, just come and do it anyway.
Bring your dog, you say?
Bring your dog. Yep.
And get a trophy?
Yep.
If it's the, fastest dog?
Yes.
Okay. I'll put you.
All right, thank you. All right, next is unfinished business, which we have none. Now we have new business. First thing is the announcement of names for applications received for vacant mayoral seat and to set special call town council meeting with an executive session agenda item to discuss personnel matters. Section 2.2-3711A1 related to the appointment to fill vacancy of town mayor for Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Attorney Black.
It'll actually be a public hearing. The way the statute reads is you've got to go through, and I realize you're making the announcement tonight, but for the purposes of the mayoral vacancy, you'll have these, I think you've already done, and you have a deadline as of today, actually, I think, for purposes of submission of of intent to seek the position or nominations, whatever it might be, and put their resume in. And at the public hearing, the public will have the ability to, and it has to be for 7:15, I don't think we have that action in the agenda, but it needs to be for 7:15 that night.
On December 1st?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For purposes of then going through whatever names have been submitted, and that has to happen at least 7 days before you actually make the appointment, which I believe you've got scheduled for council December the 9th, at your next regular scheduled meeting, do that. So, and then if, depending on what happens then, we'll see whether or not you need to go through the process again relative to whoever is selected for that position.
7:15 versus 7:30.
So we need to have a motion to set a public hearing for 7:15 to discuss this.
We have a public hearing for it, and you can discuss it then during your regular meeting or your special call meeting, but you actually have to have a public meeting by statute definition for that purpose. So I think that's why I say, or recommend you have a 7:15 call public hearing for it. It's going to take you all probably about a minute to do it, but you still need to go through the process.
If there's only one nominee, do you still have to have the public meeting? I guess it's just by the code, that's the.
I'm just having you go through what the black letter law says you have to do. I realize it's a little bit overkill maybe, but you need to go through it for the purposes of, if anybody says, well, did you follow the process? And we said, yes, we did exactly what the code requires. It's not what the charter requires, it's what the state code now requires. And this changed the law 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago.
And are we doing anything to update our code to be in line with the state law?
Since we just went through, the council just went through a code change, or charter change request for the 2026 session, at least it's been recommended to me on your all's behalf that you probably want to do that not in successive years. You can. We can go back to make a request to the General Assembly, say we need to make some other updates. This would be one of them. In a situation like we've got for the purposes of council or mayoral vacancies, and the sort of the what do you say, disjointed language in a couple of the sections within that part of the, I guess it's section 3 of the charter. You can take it back to them again. I don't think they can definitely say no, but I think it sort of looks to them to be problematic. You've got a council coming back every General Assembly session to change the charter.
But they put the rules on us. So.
Again, I'm just the messenger, not the message.
And that came from what source?
The legislative aides.
Okay.
For your your senator and your
okay.
delegate. So again, it was a recommendation. It wasn't something to do it. So you can. We can go back and we can look at this again. And if you want me to, I can go back and find there are other places that have changed. The problem with what's happening now, at least I've seen in the number of years I've been doing this, the General Assembly will change certain laws, just like they did with 24.2, that then make your charter obsolete. And you really don't run across it until you have a problem, until you have to use it. And you go back, because it isn't like we go through and I, with a fine-tooth comb every year and see what changes in the state code have affected our charter or any of our town, our entire book of ordinances. So, I mean, I could do that. You all could put me to that task to go through everything that the GA puts out every year. It would be a real fun task. We'd be like listening to Corbin reading through the audit. It would be going through and see what the General Assembly does each year. You can do that, but you still run into the same problem. It's a matter of going back and trying to refurbish what the state code has then done to basically make your town code or your charter obsolete. Or incongruous with the state code.
Does the Virginia Municipal League put like a summary of changes? Like, so all municipalities are facing very similar issues. We know that our town code's constructed, it was like a, kind of like a blueprint that a lot of municipalities followed. Do they put out, what resources do we have to go figure out what those changes are?
I think it's what the VML does go through every year and put out anything that affects 15.2. Title 15.2 is for most disastrous. Granted, this change was under 24.2, which is under elections.
Right.
So it's not, then you have other code sections, it's like I was looking tonight relative to emergencies, like the situation with the fire department. That's under Title 44. I mean, so you've got different parts of the code that can happen every General Assembly, every session, that can affect the municipality's general operations and its charter. DML, I think normally, what they'll come out with is what you see, the regular sort of direct changes to 15.2, which is sort of the municipal, lack of a better word, Bible for the code, dealing with towns and counties. And they do come out with that.
We're going to belabor it much longer. There's Title 15, Section 15, whatever it is. 15.2, those are the ones that we do by an emergency ordinance whenever we're meeting the updates, or?
That's what, 46.2 primarily, and 18.2, which is the criminal code, and 46.2, which is the motor vehicle code. And the General Assembly will routinely make changes that will affect our town police's ability to basically affect what changes in the law are in place. So we have that emergency adoption because of that change in state law that could affect our town code, for the council to be able to adopt any changes that occurred in 18.2 and 46.2 to take effect as of July, retroactive to July 1st every year.
You couldn't do a similar muscle movement for items like this to be caught up? I guess it's because of the references.
For one, in that case, it's always done as an emergency procedure because of the change in motor vehicle and traffic laws and criminal laws. I don't know, I'd have to look into that. It's something we've never come across, never been asked. Because routinely, it's not something that comes up. This is just one where, here within the past 2 years, we want to make a charter change, and then also this is coming about the vacancy discrepancy in our charter language. It's never come up. We've had then to deal with a council vacancy and then a mayoral vacancy, potentially in the same election cycle. And then when you look at the way to try to fill those voids, or those vacancies, they overlap and they're in conflict with one another. Otherwise, again, I've been doing it now, 34 years?
Been a minute.
And hey, and this is, I've done 3 charter changes since I've been sitting as town attorney, so it's not too often.
Okay.
It comes up, so it's not anything I think you really need to say, oh gosh, this is something that's on fire, now we've got to deal with it soon.
Well,
but I'll keep an eye on it as much as I possibly can to say.
But I do think what you're saying is the legislative aides have recommended that even though we know that we have a discrepancy, that to me is a very important one because it deals with the staffing of the boards. And this has caused us to be delayed and having a mayor go to town. I guess it'll be kind of like a month, right? 2 months? Almost. I can't remember when Mayor Hoops resigned.
October 7th.
So, and then we had a council meeting after that. Without doing the change, it's going to, I mean, we know the process in which we're going to follow, but it just seems odd that they would recommend not going back twice.
Again,
I'll chase that now. It's okay.
It's recommended. It wasn't saying you can't. It was just a matter of saying, basically for the optics of it.
Yeah.
That's all. And
Okay.
granted, I think you've got a little bit of some latitude here because this is something that's occurring due to this change, not in our charter, but in the change in state law under 24.2, 228 to be specific, that they just enacted those changes with the 2024 General Assembly.
Okay.
And then with that, we need to, the next time we do submit changes to the General Assembly, we need to really go through and fine-tooth comb it. And because I know there were other pieces of language that we've discussed in my time on council that we've said, hey, it's not really worded the best for, you know what I mean? Like, I think we need to come up with almost a full recommendation of, hey, let's get the code up to speed.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. And then in terms of, so right now we only have one individual who's recommended, like Joe, you're the only person that we have so far. What is should we go ahead and set the timelines for the same process for the council members in order to get the council member seat?
Yes, I know where you're going with this. Yes, you will have to go through the same process for the councilman vacancy once Joe steps into the mayor's seat. So you will have to go through that again. You will. But I think until that happens, it's, as we say in the trade, it's not ripe yet for that to happen until he leaves his seat as a councilman. So just have to, next month you'll do it. So you'll go through next month, you'll make the motions to say we need to have, we now have, once he,
The day of the appointment,
once
the
he
day opens.
yes.
So,
And you can cover it at the December 9th meeting, to go through the same thing, to take care of it in January.
And we posted the next
Post
May.
So it'll be twice in January then? Are you gonna do a special like this?
You can, I mean, you've got within 45 days, and then again, that 45-day window, I think, is a suggestion. It's not something that, oh, you didn't do it in 40, you did it in 46 days. The appointment's void. No, it's nothing like that. The code doesn't provide anything like that. I think that timing is in there strictly to make sure you act on it reasonably promptly, within if the courts get involved. You know, it mentions about that the circuit court may appoint if you all can't agree type thing. So they want to try to ensure some type of timely process to occur. So I think if you go through it in your next meeting, with the vacancy that is likely to occur, you schedule the public hearing, you schedule the advertisement, you schedule the submission of resumes for anyone who is interested, and get all that done, have the meeting. You'll have one meeting that you can do before the actual, you can do a public hearing probably on that first, when is New Year's Day? What day of the week is that on? Is that on Wednesday?
It's Thursday.
Thursday. You could probably have the public hearing that following Monday. Actually, go ahead and set that, again, set it next month. And then have it followed by your regular council meeting, which is on January the 13th?
13th.
Right, so if you did that, that would give you enough time between the actual meeting, the public hearing, the actual consideration, and the replacement, where you're not going to lose any real time. I wouldn't worry about it too much, fellas. I think you're good to go if that happens next month.
There's the game plan.
All right.
Thanks, appreciate that.
All right, with that, I will accept a motion to have a public hearing on December 1st. The sheet says 7:30, but we're saying 7:15, right?
Well, I think the 7:30 was for the actual meeting. You are going to have that joint, because you're having a meeting with.
We're having our joint meeting.
With your joint meeting, are you not?
That's at 5:30. The reason that we had it set for an executive session was to do discussion of applicants, interview, possibilities. And since we do have one position, I'm sorry, not one position, one application. So that was the reason for the 7:30.
And 7:30 is fine. I think it's when you open the public hearing, you close it, then you can go ahead with the actual meeting to go back in executive session and discuss.
So we can just finish our combined meeting, hit this right after that, at the end of that. So
7:30 is fine. So you're talking about literally a procedural marching through that's going to take you all about 10 minutes, is that?
okay.
The amount of time it's going to take you to walk back, go in the executive session, talk, come back. You're good to go.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to set a public hearing for 7:30 on December 1st to announce the names of the
And
applicants.
receive any public comment on the applicants
Okay.
for mayor.
I said no.
All right, got a motion?
I'll second.
We've got a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, next next item is to set a public hearing for zoning map corrections for Riverside Drive properties, B&W Auto and Tazewell Farm Bureau, to be zoned B2 from R2, and to add a zoning use for B1, B2, and M1 to allow fire, police, and local government services for Tuesday, December 9th, 2025 at 7:15 p.m. Zoning, building, and property maintenance official Hurley.
Again, the county has approached us to purchase that building for the county fire department, because the building they're currently in is not adequate for their equipment. I looked at the map, I showed it to Brad too. April of 2006, the map showed it as a B2. That's the B&W building and the Farm Bureau offices. And on the current zoning map, it was white, which then in turn got turned into R2. So it was connected to Blacksburg Street, which wasn't right. So all this happened years ago. But wrapping all this together into one public hearing to change the zoning back to B2, which is its previous zoning, and to put that use in those 3 zoning districts to cover our police department and our fire departments, the town's fire department, and eventually changing this building to a business district, because it's currently in our residential district. So put that use in those 3 zones, and I think it'll cover everything we need to do. And that'll all be wrapped up in one public hearing, correct?
Yes. This is one of those things, just like, sort of like the charter. Things happen, Chris was looking at the map, and somehow the map got changed without anybody actually doing it. It may have just been a printing error for all we know.
Well, they went from one company, like I think Thompson Living, KP Moore, and the Hill Studio had the map back in 2006. And now the Moore guy does it currently. So it got switched in between those years.
Is this going to be a public hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, because you're changing zoning maps, you need to do that. The other thing Chris and I talked about, one of the things that's it's been done without actually having a designated use, because our zoning code is set up in specified uses for each zone, particularly in its R1, R2, B1, and B2 zones, and industrial. And in all those zones, there is no provision for municipal buildings or fire or police. Nobody's ever raised it, so we said we may as well go ahead and clean it up while we're at it, and add as a use in B1, B2, and M1 to where you can have municipal or fire or police municipal services.
You say this building is in R2 right now?
It's an R1.
R1.
It's an R1.
Yeah.
According to the map, again.
But this public hearing won't address this building.
No.
We're just doing this kind of in a hurry because they want the fire trucks inside because of the cold weather. You can't leave fire truck outside.
Right. Okay. I thought you were saying this was getting wrapped into this.
No,
Like, that's not.
it is going to have to be changed at some point in time. Nobody's jumping up and down about having it changed anytime soon, but it will need to be addressed.
Okay.
Eric approached, I guess, the manager and Chris about this because of the problem that they have. They're to the point of actually where this literally fits the definition of an emergency for them because they need someone to house their vehicles because they can't be exposed to the weather. And John will back up some of that to how important that is. So it's a matter of one as quickly as the town can approach it without it being rushed through.
Right.
It's one where you can set the public hearing, go through and make the changes, adopt the changes, and they can be in the process of doing their moves to safeguard and keep their vehicles while this process takes place.
All right, sounds good. Well, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the EMS update. EMS Director Celine.
I wanted to start out about talking about our community dinner this year. Townhouse EMS hosted it this year. Usually it's the police department. But they gave us the lovely tax, or allowed us to host this year. It was on November 15th from 11 to 2. That went really well this year. We served over 500 members of our community. I think last year it was approximately 350.
About 350 last year.
So we had quite a few many more people come out this year. We had 170 approximately that ate with us there. And there was 330 takeout orders. But it went really well. I want to give a big thank you to Zach. Zach came out.
It was a ton of fun hanging out with y'all.
Right. Served food, and it was great having him out there. He took the pressure off me and did the WBDA for me. So I appreciate that. And then Jonathan Hankins, he came out with his wife Melissa, and Jonathan served food, and Melissa was kind of with me and trying to get all this to-go orders together. It was a little crazy at first, but it went well. It went really well. Heard a lot of compliments. So. Second off, we finally took possession of both of our ambulances. The grant truck we granted back in 21. We got it last month on the road, and then we got 902
the one we bought, the van ambulance. 905's on the road, doing great. I've got a lot of community comments about it and how good it looks. 902, we're waiting on radios, installing it before we get on the road, but it should be within the next week or two. Right now, we're getting ready for our biannual state inspection for our relicensure for all our trucks, and we're all prepared for that. That's a 4 or 5 month process to get ready for that inspection. It's next month, so. Or I'm sorry, in January. And I guess the last thing on the agenda is the building. We advertised an RFP on October 13th. I think it's on Wednesday.
I think that sounds right.
We scheduled a pre-bid meeting on Wednesday, October 29th. We had a lot of interest in it. We had 6 different companies come out and took a lot of interest, and we got a lot of feedback from them. We want to get feedback with them. And I'll let you go from there, because I think you've had contact with Thompson and Litton. Okay, before we go further.
So, our engineers that we have done through our procurement process are Thompson and Litton, and they have prepared for us a preliminary architectural report. And we did ask for 2 different options. One option was to go from the ground up and to see what cost that would be, and it was over $4 million if we would like to go that way. And the option number 2 was to renovate the current location, which is up on Stills Lane, and that came in at $866,000.
So we're here tonight to ask you for the $4 million.
We do have congressional directed spending funds of $354,000. Town of Tazewell has also allocated $300,000 for those funds. When we held our pre-bid meeting, like she said, there was a lot of interested companies that came. There were some that was fairly local, hometown companies. And we were asked if we had construction documents, which we had our preliminary architectural report. However, we learned at that meeting that the construction documents were not part of this document. However, in this document, the PAR, it does have costs in here for the construction documents. So the construction documents is included in that $866,000. Thompson and Litton is working on getting that together for us. However, it does mean that we're going to have to postpone being able to award a contractor for her renovation project. However, once we have those construction documents, and Thompson Litton thought maybe it would be January when we would receive those, we will go through the pre-bid meeting again and invite all those contractors back up and anyone else that would be interested at that point. And we will have the documents prepared for them, so they are able to bid a more apples to apples bid instead of, this company thinks this should how this should go, this company thinks this is how it could go. They will be able to bid a more fair, competitive bid. They did give us a lot of feedback that evening, and a lot of it was covered in what this document, the PAR, has said. So, but it was a very good meeting, a very informative, educational meeting, at least for me. So that's where we are with that project. So.
When, a couple months ago, we were talking, because this has been one where I think we earmarked the funds that we wanted to contribute to this. Maybe it was like last spring, last summer. But we wanted to ask, is there anything as, between now and when the construction occurs, how's the quality of life for the EMS workers? Is there anything that we can do on our end to improve that until we get to construction? Because this has been a project we've been talking about for quite some time.
I don't think so at this time. We're just expanding. I mean, we're just out of room and nothing that we can do until.
Okay. So
project
like living quarters are okay?
Yeah.
It could be better.
Yeah, definitely be better. Yeah, nothing we can't do with, project.
Okay.
And the one question I have is
So the construction documents were not in the PAR, but there was a construction cost estimate.
Yes.
And how accurate can we say that construction cost estimate is? If we don't have those documents, and they won't be able to produce those documents until January. Because I thought, like, when I heard it earlier, I thought it was, the documents are there, they just weren't in that packet. And so the estimate should be accurate, but from what I'm hearing now, they have to prepare those. So I don't feel like that's a very confident number.
Right, so, just as Cindy said, there's a blueprint in here, but this is like, it's X amount of feet long and it's X amount of feet wide, and it's the very specifics for the construction companies to go by.
They didn't have any pre-bid plans, is what it was.
Okay.
Usually you have pre-bid plans for like the community medical office out here, then you get the final plans before you start the job.
Okay.
GCs are welcome to bid on any part of this.
Yes.
You mentioned that. Any date for that again?
We won't have that again until.
You should try after January.
Right.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, y'all need help. And I'd rather have the fire rescue, the police in top shape in reference for this town, because we don't know when it's gonna change. And we gotta be ready for that.
We're working on it, it's been slow, but we're getting there,
Well,
we're moving in the right direction, so.
You're doing a good job, and all your workers, but we need to get started on this as soon as possible.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you. And remember, turkey trot. I'll be there for you.
I'll be at the auction.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have a fire department request. Fire Department Chief Thomas.
Thank you for listening to the request. We need a new truck, and it's $1.3 million.
But you have to have, right? It's about-
The NFPA says 15 years on a first out truck and 25 as a reserve. And both of our first out trucks are much older. Not much older. The one we want to replace is much older. The other one's just a couple of years older. They bought them close together. One's a 2008 and one's a 2002. So it was kind of unusual. I can go back and tell you ever since I can remember us getting new trucks. When I joined the fire department, we had a 41 and a 69. And the 69 was bought new. There was newspaper articles and Polaroids, and I'm sure of it. The 41 they said was the Army surplus that was new. That's what they said, I don't know. But then we got a 78. So we had the 78 and the 69, which was new. And then we got a 90, which was new. So we had the 90 and the 78. And then we bought the 2002, which we bought new. So it was we had the 90 and the 2002. And then we got a 2008, I guess, kind of catch up. So now we got two of them a little bit close together. But the one we need to replace is the 2002. And it's obviously 23 years old. If we ordered it now, it'd be 3 years before we got it. So it'd be 3 years before we had to pay for it, which that's, you guys know. But, well, that's in advance, I guess, 3 years out.
And what kind of truck is it?
The pumpers, okay, the pumpers are the first two trucks to go. The first one goes to the scene, the men drag the hose off, put the air packs on, go inside. And the other pumper supplies water to the first pumper. So they're both, they are the fire department. The other trucks are like big fires for the ladder truck. More or less county assistance for the tanker, because we didn't want to send our first line trucks out, so we bought that used tanker. But these are the fire department, these two trucks are, and we need one replaced.
So I'm new, and I looked at the packet. Is there any other bids? Because I saw the one.
We can get more bids, but I said I needed to get, we need to be able to tell the salesman, yes, the town is at least interested, and it's not just the word of the fire chief before we get more bids. These guys are way out on these things.
Right.
Our procurement process, we would have to advertise and receive other.
Yeah, we'll definitely get more bids. We'll get all the bids you want.
When Chief Thomas come to me and had said, you know, our age of our trucks are beginning to be a concern, I asked him just to reach out and get an idea of what we would be looking at. And I wanted him to come before you all to bring that to your attention, because, you know, as he said, it's going to be 3 years before we would actually take possession of this truck. Budget season is around the corner, so it's a good thing to hear this now, that we can plan, and, you know, we will absolutely need to get other estimates.
Yes,
However,
yes.
this is a start.
Yeah,
But, and we also need to keep in mind that 3 years out, we get this truck in hand, that makes the other truck, 2008, 20 years old at that point.
they're really close together.
Yeah, I don't know
why they happen that way.
I don't know what the extent that we can stretch that so that we can stagger them to where it's once every 10 years.
They were staggered out pretty good, but I don't know, the chief at the time asked for it and got it, so.
Under the standards, I think we need to do this.
Yeah.
Start getting some good,
Yeah, we can get quotes to the major, there's probably 10 different people that make fire trucks, and they're all legit, you know, they're all meet the NFPA standards and the DOT standards, and they're all probably good trucks. Which one we get at, I don't care.
Yeah, well, you need to get the quotes and everything for the fire trucks. That way you've got 3 years.
Yeah.
Coming up, you've got 3 years to figure out which one's the best and
Right.
get it in here.
It would take us, once we say, yes, the town is entertaining, they're on board with us getting the quotes. I know it's a lot of money, I know it's a lot of money, but it is a 25-year investment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it ain't like a garbage truck that's $300,000, that's gonna last 5 years. It's a long investment.
And doing a little just recon on grants for this. Do you have, like, for fire trucks, are there 80/20 grants out there? That was recommended to me with little more information. But I don't know, have we utilized, just like we did with police cruisers, utilize the USDA grants in order to offset those costs? Did you all use grants before?
We filled out grants on our own, we've been successful with smaller grants like air packs and forestry grant, and Norfolk and Southern, I believe, gave us a grant. Me too, they took a class, but nothing like that.
We would absolutely explore grant
Oh,
options.
absolutely. If we get it for free, that's a big one.
But I do, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's, I mean, that came from another elected representative who recommended looking into that, and I guess I'll follow up with them and see, because the USDA put the kibosh on the police vehicles, so I imagine we're probably in a similar state
I think we would be.
on this one.
Some things that we found out applying for these grants are, we got too much money. Tazewell's actually in pretty good shape, as a town, that's what they tell us, you know. If we was a poor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I do, with that, I do think, you know, if we commit to looking into this, which I think we should, we need to earmark some of our Recovery Act funds, even though they're already in the LDIP gaining interest. But we need to earmark a portion of that for, so that that interest is being earmarked as well towards this.
I think that would be a great recommendation.
If it would help, we could use a portion of our budget every year, if it would help. Because we're blessed, you guys have always taken care of us, you know. So whatever we can do to keep current, to keep our fire department, you know, top notch.
Right.
So that's what we want to do.
Yes, sir.
But while you're here, I got something a little unrelated, but I definitely want to be thinking about the 250th year, anniversary of U.S. independence. So next year, 4th of July, it's I can't remember what it's called, like Quincentennial. All right, I'm just throwing this out here as an idea. But is there training that our fire department could go to set off fireworks so that we could have the event? So we contract that out annually to the cost of about $12,000.
Right.
Is there training that you're aware of that the fire department could then do that, and then we could buy the fireworks and then set it off, and then we can control the date as well?
We did it once before, and like 3 of the guys went to, I think, South Carolina and done it. But it was cost prohibitive now, which if you could get it to where you could set it off every year, it'd probably be worth doing. I could get you volunteers if you'll sign us up.
That sounds like a lot of fun, right?
Huh? I mean, we've done it. We know how to do it. We know how to put sandbags out, how to, use the road flares to light them to.
I think y'all did a good job.
Yeah. We still got the assistant chief, Jeremy. He was one of them that was trained. We still got the knowledge. We just don't have the certificate.
Certificate would be required for insurance purposes.
Right, exactly.
Oh, of course, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, is that something the board's interested in pursuing, getting the fire department trained on, so that we can have 4th of July on the 4th of July?
I get you the guys. I'll be one of them.
And next year's a very important year for America, so.
I'd be one of those volunteers too. No. I think, could we look into that? and find
It's a pyrotechnic certification is what they would need.
Right. It's a little bit bigger deal than it used to be.
Usually we set fireworks stuff in January, so before then, we will have a bit more information that we could.
I think we looked into that last year, because TJ come to me.
We did.
But we didn't have enough time, I think, before the event.
No, I think the law is now you gotta set off at least 2
You're right.
things per year
I mean, we
to
could.
stay qualified for it.
Right.
The turkey trot would love to have
They need to be red, orange, and yellow.
At the time, I do remember that, and the only place we could go was like the Superdome or a big football stadium that set off fireworks, as a celebration. It was a really big deal now to do it, but we'll do it.
If we can get some details on that, we could at least look at working on that.
I just figured it was an opportunity, since you were talking to us anyway, to pitch it out there.
We'll do whatever.
Kind of, as we get into this planning for 2026.
We don't mind. All right, thanks.
So with that, do we need to get a vote of support, a letter of support, or can we just use what exactly do you need, just
I
guidance?
think they would take my word for it, and if they didn't, they could call the town manager and say, is your town actually considering buying one?
Did they ask for a down payment or something?
No.
No money up front.
No, because
I think it might be a good idea that we get a letter of support.
we have to get it an approved delivery of it before we have to pay for it.
Can we vote that?
payment or anything.
Yeah.
Would you be able to vote on this route?
There's the inspection process.
I think you put together
Yeah.
a resolution. have
Yeah, you
it-
gotta inspect it and say, yes, we'll
That
take
way-
it.
That way you can put in there exactly what you need to help support
Yeah.
all options that the chief is trying to get you.
Hey, John, I think recently got split up like that. The first one, 2002, I think that truck was, whoever they had some financial difficulties, so they had rebid it out. So you had a delay there.
I didn't remember. I was on the fire department then, but I wasn't like the chief. I don't remember. I just glad to see the new truck.
I got a big call bits and pieces.
Yeah. Well, we went to New Orleans and watched I keep saying New Orleans, and watched the VRO being built. That was in 2002. We went down there a couple times and watched it being built. And we went to Wisconsin and seen the Pierce being built. And we went and seen the 90 model. It was built in Bluefield.
Yeah. I think that's what, I think American or France and Bluefield, I
Right.
think that was probably the 2002 fire truck.
We've always spec'd them out and been involved in the construction. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is the Route 460 water line replacement project update.
Our Route 460 project, as you may have noticed, we have some pavement down on the section of Tin Castle between Peary Street and Ben Bolt. That has been repaired. In the springtime, we will come back, and if there's been any settling, we will put a overlay on that lane, and we will mill up the lane that currently was not paved, and we will have a nice section of new road. On Friday of last week, is that correct? Friday of last week, we were able to open the four-way hill section of road back up. We were able to patch the ditch line of where we had been laying the water line, and in the springtime, again, we will overlay that whole road, and we will have a nice, new, fresh paved road from Peary Street down to Hardee's. We have a pre-bid meeting this coming Friday for a crane procurement. We have a pressure reducing vault that's going to be installed in the North Tazewell area as part of this project. The base part of it is 45,000 pounds, so we have to procure a crane in order to install that vault. So that will take place here on Friday at 1 o'clock. We have been in contact with the Virginia Department of Health Office of Drinking Water as far as continuing to work on the project during the winter time, and that's kind of what we're doing with this vault. We are still waiting on some of our bridge crossing materials to come for the Hardee's Bridge. Once those hangers come in, we will be able to install those. It's no road work whatsoever, but it will allow us to maintain a momentum. It might be slow, but we'll maintain momentum on that project to continue working on it through the winter time. In the springtime, you've heard about the asphalt. We will be continuing the project. There is a small section on Market Street, like 600 feet of pipe that we have to do there. And then the project will continue from Hardee's out to the bridge at Great Escape. That's where we intend to get to with the funding that we have.
With Market Street, is it going back towards the middle school or?
Market Street would be at the Advanced Auto red light going to the entrance of Food Line.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to take I think it's a 6-inch line, make it an 8-inch line.
Okay.
That is my 460 of it.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I just want to say, I know that the crew has taken a lot of flack for this. I do believe I'm the only person on the board now that has served in that capacity. They've done a great job with what they have. There's a guy that's working on the water line that has done that for over 20 years. He knows what he's doing. So I know there's been a lot said out in the community about them, but they're working hard and they've done a great job, and I appreciate what they've done, because I've been there and I've done that. So just want to lay that out there.
All right.
Next on the agenda is mountain biking project update, Manager Reed.
At our last meeting, I had given an update on air easements. Both property owners that we would need to have easement from their land. One of the owners said, hey, we anticipate on signing just out of town right now. And the other is with on a board, and they have a meeting on the 20th and anticipate to sign. So I have asked if it is all possible to have those in place by the end of this month. So once we are able to establish those documents, we will be able to then present them to Tazewell County, who is going to assist us with some grant funding that they have for a different project that they're not going to be able to do, and that is going to get us $60,000 from their assistance. So once we have those in hand, we will be able to further our project a little bit more.
What price are we looking at for the whole deal?
Price, I don't know a price yet. We'll bid that out and we'll get different competitors to give us a quote. And but that would set our funding up at $410,000.
We earmarked $350 this summer towards this project. And it's the same thing that we see with the rescue money. It's in its own designated LGIP fund. We saw, well, and just to kind of backtrack, stay with me, on the $60,000, the intent would be to utilize the same successful model that we had with the Farmers Market Pavilion, where we get our designings, we actually can show an in-state product, and then we have a community listening session, right? We want to be mindful of taxpayer dollars just like you do. And once we utilize other people's money to get our designs and drawings, we can bring the community together and say, this is our vision, what do you think? And then at that point, Dave, I think that's the time where, you know, there's hard conversations need to be had, especially when it comes in terms of, you know, cost analysis for the project. But for now, we're utilizing county funds that they're graciously giving us to go out and get designs and drawings. Those take about 3 months to build out. And the cost, I think that was one thing that you were asking last month. Now help me on this one. I think it was, the high end was, they do it by square foot, right? $20 per square foot of truck.
That sounds right.
Sounds right. I think that's what we had in that. So based on what you funded and the topography, like that could probably drive you towards the higher end if you got to cut a lot of switchbacks. But you can estimate approximately $20 per square foot. So.
And the design has not been set yet, so we can design that project to go. That parcel of land is, how many acres? 190?
No, 500.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's the big one. Okay.
Well, you got like five something, and then 508, 516, and you got 664, which is further east.
Okay.
Separated by a central parcel. Yeah.
So it's 500 acres, so we could make whatever design we wanted to make within that 500 based on the topography.
Right. You'd probably want to lean into the proximity to the road that's already cut.
Right. So, all right. So that's a lot to look forward to down the road. All right. Next, dog park update. Manager Reed.
At our October meeting, we had a brief discussion about the dog park. There were questions, were there fountains, water fountains out there? So yes, there are water fountains out there for the dogs and for people. There are benches for people to sit on while their dogs play on the park. There are trash receptacles out there. I have not contacted the greenhouse about the trees yet, as far as what kind of trees could go out there, but that is on my to get that done. But use for the dog park, I do think there's an opportunity there that we could somehow entice people to go and visit it more often. I don't think it's as used as what it could be. So maybe that's something, springtime, we can come up with a marketing plan, maybe even to get more people to come and visit that park.
Dog racing competitions, obstacle course.
Kara might do a dog trot.
To train for the fastest dog trophy.
Yeah, dog costume racing.
All
All right, come on. All right, thank you for that update.
August.
Next on the agenda is a reminder for the joint public meeting, the comprehensive plan review that we've discussed several times. Joint public meeting will be between Town Council, Planning Commission, IEDA, and that is already set as of last meeting, if I'm not mistaken, for Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., which will be followed up by a public hearing. All right. Next item, or any discussion with that? December 1st. That is a Monday, if I'm not mistaken.
5:30.
Yeah, it says Monday, sorry. Yeah, 5:30. All right. And next item on the agenda is invitation to the town council, invitation to the town council to attend the employee Christmas dinner on Friday, December 12th at 6:30 at the VIP room. We need to RSVP by November 21st if we plan to attend. It has Manager Reed's name, but I just read it.
So we would love if you all would like to join us and celebrate our holiday season and have a good meal and fellowship with one another. So if you all like to attend, RSVP November 20th.
What's the meaning?
I'm sorry. Give me a minute. Pork loin and meatloaf, I think, and shrimp.
Shrimp, you got it. All right, awesome, thank you very much. And then, next item on the agenda is Southwest Virginia Legislative Reception in Richmond on January 28th, 2026. Manager Reed.
So the last 2 years, I have had the privilege to attend this legislative reception. This gives us a chance to go before our various funders, and we have meetings set up that, such as like the Virginia Tourism Commission, DHCD, and we're able to go talk to them about the projects, get some one-on-one FaceTime with them, and it's a very good opportunity. So I know that Susan and I have already got our reservations. If anyone would like to attend, please let us know, and we'll be sure that we get you a spot reserved. So.
I can't, that's my wife's birthday, so I'm
Is that for one day?
It's 2 days.
We go up one day and then have the meetings and come back the next day. The reception is in the evening at the Virginia Library. The Library of Virginia.
Put me down on this one.
Next, we have miscellaneous items. Do you have any miscellaneous, or we already took it away from you?
That's okay. Stole my thunder, but we are going to have the rink grand opening at Lincolnshire Park on Friday evening at 6 o'clock. Susan has told me the weather's not looking so great, so you all have high hopes for good weather that evening. And we're going to have a food truck out there, and it's free admission for anyone that would like to get in. I think we're going to have some Christmas music maybe playing from one of our favorite DJs. So
we're going to play that Mariah Carey Christmas song on repeat. I'm going to keep the crowd moving.
With that being said, so we have seen weather be a factor on that. Because we had 1 year it was icy, 1 year it was kind of rainy.
This is raining.
Can we look at what the cost of some kind of covering tarp? Like, I'm not talking about, wood covering for that, but let's
if we could get some kind of tarp and some way to hang that, just, I would say a hand raise, I think this has already been.
Next year, could it go to the pavilion and stuff? Then it's just straight up covered?
We could consider that.
The IDA would allow that.
Thank you, Chair Spivey, for allowing that.
Go right in the middle.
That was not intended to be a softball, but you're welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I remember one time, they had music on Main Street.
Yes.
Is there any way we can get that going?
I know that that was done out of the mini park, the little school replica that was up there. That's where that was housed, and we don't have that anymore. We do have Altizer Stage up here that we could look at doing that, but that's kind of where that should come from. What?
You got Tazewell Today office.
We do have Tazewell Today office.
That is a possibility.
Okay.
But,
Well,
Could you plug into the speaker? That's really what I tried to talk, but could
well,
you
those-
plug into the speakers from there?
are the speakers still up?
they're not up yet, but I think we have them.
Yeah, I've seen them.
So that's something that we could look at.
Yeah, that'd be great. When you have that happy show going up there in courts and walking Main Street, you gotta calm them down.
Okay.
Good music.
All right. Anything else on miscellaneous?
This is just a little moment that I would like to do. You know, we've had several department heads speak out this evening, and I just want to say thank you to you all. So you keep this place going, and you help me to not have to police all the things. So I really do appreciate you all. So thank you to all my department heads.
And I have to say that she's probably the best boss I've ever worked for in my life. I'm not just saying that because she's in this room.
I'll pay it later.
I promise you I'm not. Leanne is really, really open-minded when you come forward with things.
Yep.
She don't mess with you, as she says. She trusts us. When I've got something big, no matter what it is, I call her, it may be 1 o'clock in the morning, but I call her and she's okay with that. And she's always been good to us, always.
We thank you all for all your efforts. All right. Next.
Oh, no, you got one. We got one public comment? Yes.
All right.
Craig August. Please come up.
State your name and address, and
Hi.
we try to keep the public.
I'll be 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh, sorry. That's what I was getting ready to
I
say.
do talk a lot, but, I'm Craig August, and this is my wife Shirley August. We're from Iowa, and what brings me to Tazewell here is her sister and niece, our niece. They live here in Tazewell, lived here maybe 3 years or so, not very long, but we came here last Thanksgiving and Christmas. Really enjoyed the gingerbread thing. I wish I could be a part of it this year. Oh, I would if I'm here, but we're going to be heading back to Iowa maybe this next week. But what brought us here to Tazewell again was my wife's sister and niece, and to visit her and be with her. My background, I'm retired now, but sort of medically retired. Because I had a stroke about 13 years ago or whatever, so I haven't worked since then. But I'm really blessed with our family's company. My background career was a CNC program operator. We programmed CNC machines for foundries, the pattern maker, making patterns for foundries for really the government, aerospace, and all that. And the company's gone to the next generation. You know, my son works there now on that. And back in Iowa, it's really successful company. But and so I have a lot of attention to detail kind of stuff in my mind. But physically now I can't do as much. I like to do it yourself kind of minded and business minded, but not a business person. Anyway, what brought us here to Tazewell again, And then, once we got here to Tazewell, we spent Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and went back to Iowa. But I saw this immediately. It's like a hallmark. Sorry, I get emotional. Part of the stroke, sorry. And it's a happiness. But to me, this is like a hallmark city, hallmark town. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And I think I'm going to be in touch with you a lot, town manager. Very impressive from the moment I walked in the door and all you put, everybody's contribution to this city. I just thank you. But while I'm here before the council now, and never mind my emotion now and stuff like that, it's just part of, I get that way, but it's, in the Methodist Main Street Church, as we go to there, and I'm in the process of buying a house, 204 Tazewell Avenue. It's been unoccupied for maybe 10 years or more, but the previous owner, it's just been too much for her to do her dream with it. But I have a dream. My wife's family, she's from Philippines, and her parents will be 70 next year, and I'd like to we'd like to bring them into this house, because it's a big house, and it's just me and my wife right now. But we have a lot of plans for that, and I've got a lot of contractor quotes and stuff. I was trying to get a mortgage for it, but the loan officer is saying that might need to be a construction mortgage because I'm concerned about the structural integrity of the place. So I've been getting a bunch of quotes together, and if I give them a quote by like a certified contractor, then they may approve it as a construction loan, that I'm going to do this stuff. But I come to the council today to to meet you all for one thing, and get to know and let you know who me coming into this city and town, and I want to contribute to it. I come from a small town in Iowa, farm community, really small town. You think kind of, this place don't even have a stoplight, I don't think. But yeah, it don't have a stoplight. But I'm just maybe in need of some assistance and maybe some referrals of some contractors, handymen, structural engineer. I have a feeling I might be in contact with you more than and maybe refer me to her. But like any grants that may be available, or interest-free loan, or tax incentives or tax breaks, any of that can help me. I'm going back to Iowa, and I'll come back next fall, maybe September and October, and I'd like to have that whole outside next year by about this time, because it's too late in the year now, and I still got to close on the property. But I'd like to have the whole outside re-roofed, vinyl sided. I'd like to add a 2-car garage, and I tell all the contractors that I want it to be equal to the house next door that's been renovated maybe 10 years ago, equal or better than that. So really, that's all I wanted to say. If you have any questions, please ask.
You like to have you here. Like to do what you can, bring them all down.
And I'm all for hiring local. I'm all about local.
Do you have some gentlemen working on your property at this time?
No, I don't. Because here in Tazewell?
Yes, sir.
Because I don't own the property yet now. I'm waiting for a closing.
There's been a van there and a trailer for several days.
Yeah, that's mine.
Oh.
That's my trailer.
Okay.
I work, and because I had the stroke and stuff, I in my mind can do pretty much all of this stuff, but my body, I can't 1 or 2 hours of physical labor. So I'm fortunate, blessed with a family business that I can financially do this stuff. But I may need assistance to get a jump start.
Well, I'm right next door to you. I saw you guys at Halloween sitting on Kathy's porch. I live right next door
Okay, yeah.
My kids go to school with Taylor, so.
Taylor?
Yeah,
They're
anytime we can do anything we can do to help, feel free to reach out, I can coordinate.
They volunteered, my wife, I know she's gonna be volunteering at me where I can't be like on a seat, I can't be dependent upon all the time, but I'm a big background support all of you. I would.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your interest.
You can reach out anytime.
Okay, I'll get your information. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
All right, next we have council comments. Have any council member comments? That's all on you. New guy.
I'm good.
Okay.
That's the right answer, Glenn.
All right, with that, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
May I say one thing? I just found this out this afternoon, but we are having a Christmas party at the police department sponsored by a citizen in our town, and they have asked me to ask you all tonight, Leanne and the board, if you all would want to attend. It's December the 10th, 6 p.m. at the police department. And he asked me if I would ask that tonight. We've been communicating, and I kept on telling him, I'm like, this may be the last time. So he finally called me this afternoon and gave me the date.
I feel like I need to ask what's the menu.
Now, I will promise you, I don't know.
Appreciate it.
Could be a sub. I don't know.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, I've got a motion. Councilmember Fox, you got a second? Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We are adjourned.